All right. Hello there, and a very good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us from wherever it is that you are tuned in from. We are coming to you live from the Kenyatta International Convention Center, and today we will be commemorating the International Anti-Corruption Day 2025 here in KICC. And the theme is Uniting with Youth Against Corruption, Shaping Tomorrow's Integrity. As per usual, AYLF is honored to be part of this conversation. And of course, we will be partnering with CLIF, that is Kenya Leadership Integrity Forum, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, EACC, and the National Youth Council, Kenya. We're going to be having a lot of good conversations today, so be sure to tune in. And of course, check out our social media pages at AYLF Kenya. But before we begin, allow me to introduce and welcome Joyce Munene, who is going to be officially welcoming us to today's event. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today, Joyce?
Well, how are you?
I'm good. Yes, it is on.
I'm very well.
You're very well.
Yes.
So tell us your name and of course welcome us to today's event. What can we look forward to? What are some of the conversations that we will be having? Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Sharon. My name is Joyce Munene. I'm the head of the Kenya Leadership Integrity Forum. And today we've brought the forum brings together stakeholders from the public sector, the private sector, media, civil society, the youth, the citizens, to just engage on matters of corruption and promotion of integrity. So today is an annual event that happens every year, International Anti-Corruption Day, to just take stock on what we've done in the fight against corruption and also raise awareness on the fight against corruption.
Yes, so what are some of the conversations we can look forward to? Who are some of the speakers that you would recommend for guys to actually be on the lookout for today?
Okay, we'll have our chief guest, who is the Cabinet Secretary for Youth Affairs, Honorable Salim Mvuria.
Yeah.
He'll be in attendance. We also have the Principal Secretary for Youth Affairs. We have the other principal secretaries, we have CEOs, we have the youths in their numbers, and it's just conversation and interactive sessions on matters of integrity.
And you've said you're part of CLIF. What kind of work does CLIF do, and how are you involved in today's conversation?
Okay, thank you. So CLIF, the Kenya Leadership Integrity Forum, spearheads partnerships in the fight against corruption. So we just engage and give citizens a platform. We just exchange ideas and insights and amplify our voices on the fight against corruption. Because everybody has a part to play. Yes, corruption, the institution mandated to fight corruption is EACC.
Yes.
But everybody has a role to play.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Joyce. We are looking forward to interacting with you more inside there. And of course, to keep the conversations going.
Okay.
Asante sana.
And thank you very much, Sharon.
Thank you also.
Okay.
All right, there we have it. That is Joyce from Kenya Leadership Integrity Forum. And like we've said today, we are here to commemorate the International Anti-Corruption Day 2025 here in KICC. And AYLF is more than honored to be part of this conversation. Like I said before, I'm Chibai Kaptuya, and I will be your host for today, holding space and just having conversation with some of the young people who are here to help us talk about how we can engage our youth in shaping tomorrow's integrity. So I will begin. Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How
are you feeling? I'm good, thank you. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling nice. I'm feeling expected.
Yes.
I'm happy to be here.
You're happy to be here.
Yeah.
Tell us, what is your name? What are your expectations for today?
Okay, so I'm Loretta Ching. I'm from Egerton University. And today, on this International Anti-Corruption Day, I am expecting to have youths discuss in conversations that can shape the future of our nation. I'd love to see the impact that youth have in conversations that actually matter, like this one, because corruption does not just rob us of our future. It makes us not have any space in anything that we do. So I'm hopeful to see youth talk and engage and have a space to air out their views.
Okay, thank you. I like what you've said, that corruption doesn't just rob us. It robs us a lot. It robs us development. It robs us a seat at the table and being able to engage with democracy. But what are some of the specific, or what is one specific thing that you think we as young people can do to help combat corruption in Kenya?
For me, I think that, and this is a very good step, because we need to have the youth in the conversations.
Yes.
Because it's about time that you have youth and talking about matters that actually matter to them. Because it's not always the leaders who are going to talk on our behalf. They're also leaders of tomorrow, and they also need a chance to talk about it today. So for me, I believe that corruption isn't like a one-off thing. I feel like it's interconnected, because it's so many things that shape corruption. And if we can find a solution, it's not a one specific solution. It's everyone putting in their work, their effort, their voices in order to make sure that we can fight corruption. It's not just one thing that we can do and then corruption is over. So I believe it's interconnected, and if we have an systems thinking approach, then we can be able to fight corruption. We look at everything, starting from the cause of corruption. Why do people engage in corruption?
Absolutely.
Who is benefiting? Who is not benefiting? Why are the systems going on as they are? So it's a lot of things. It's a lot of interconnected things that we need to discuss, because the more we have these discussions, the more it comes out to the light, and the more corruption is going to be reduced.
Absolutely.
This is a nice step in the right direction.
What would you say you're doing in Egerton University, even as we finish, as some of the ways to challenge the systemic issues you're talking about, and to just steer forward this conversation? Because like you've said, it is important that we have these conversations, but what is actually happening in universities? What is happening at the grassroots to ensure that this is not a conversation that we will keep having?
Okay, so we can talk and talk and talk.
Yeah, for sure.
But we also need
action.
And for action, I believe the first step is whistleblowing. For example, in universities, there's a lot of, I'll call it corruption, because you'll see when you're going to the departments, you go there, you meet the departmental heads who are like, you give us something so that you can get a service. But if, as the students, we whistleblow, we go and deny that we're not going to pay you, you're supposed to be doing this for us, because we've already paid the fees. It's about whistleblowing, first of all. It's about being courageous enough to stand up for your rights. So you can say that I'm not going to pay because I know my rights. I know that this has already been catered for. I should not be told to pay an extra amount just to get a service that is
you're already entitled and rightful yours.
So I believe the first step is courage, because corruption, I feel like it thrives in silence. And they want us to fear. But if we are courageous enough to speak up against this evil, then I believe that that's a step in the right direction.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for coming. And of course, we look forward to having more conversations with you. And I really like what she said, that corruption thrives in silence. Corruption thrives in weakness. So we need to be able to speak up, and it starts with where we are. Most of the time we think that corruption is only happening in the public sector or in, big offices and public spaces, but corruption begins right at our homes, right in our schools, right at our places of work, and we need to be able to be courageous enough to challenge and to call out those who are perpetrating such an act. So hello. How are you? Good morning. What is your name and what are you looking forward to today?
My name is Brian Serone. I am a police expert, and I'm happy to be here to celebrate the International Anti-Corruption Day. And I think as a person from the police expert, I just want to see how beyond the normal advocacy or maybe the social media noise, how we can be able to become the agents of transforming these institutions, how we can be able to contribute to this agenda policy-wise. So just moving beyond the normal talk, the normal normal social media hype, and seeing how young people can be actually the agents of bringing the integrity in the institutions.
I like what you've said about policy. Now, what are some of the policies that young people are coming up with, or even that are in action to help combat corruption?
Amazing. Yeah, so I think right now, because we're in a digital era, I am seeing a lot of transformation when we look at the digital rights, when you look at the digital literacy, the digital freedom, and these things are being pushed in different institutions, not just one thematic area. So I think right now, because we are a technology savvy generation, all these communication acts, all these technology rights that are there, they are the main anchorage in which you can be able to use as young people to fight corruption.
Absolutely. So you're saying that we can just start with what we have, the fact that we as young people are good with our digital skills and digital transformation, so using that to be able to fight corruption and shape tomorrow's integrity. That's what you're saying. Okay, thank you so much for coming, and of course be sure to have a good time inside. Thank you sana, asante sana. All right, we continue to have conversations. Hello sir, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you too.
Why don't you introduce yourself? My name is Sharon personally, so tell us your name, your role in today's conversation, and what is your contribution to the theme, uniting with youth against corruption.
Okay, thank you so much for having me here.
Yeah.
My name is Jackson Mue. I am the Director in charge of Field Services and Coordination at the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. Today we are happy to commemorate the International Anti-Corruption Day.
Yes.
And we are specifically very happy to note that the theme is uniting the youth against corruption.
Yeah.
The present and the future belongs to the youth of our country. And the corruption being a governance issue, we are inviting the youth, and calling upon them to take their space in the fight against corruption, so that we can promote good governance in our country. Because when we promote good governance in our country, the economy will grow, job opportunities will be created, which the youth can be able to take up, and most important, the youth will be able to safeguard the resources which our country has.
Absolutely.
Kenya is not a poor country.
No, it is not. So what are some of the ways you would recommend that the youth plug into this conversation? Because most of the times you're at home on our phones, sometimes you might not be actively involved in the fight against corruption, but what would be your call to young people in this fight against corruption?
In the fight against corruption, the youth have a critical role.
Yeah.
In this digital era, the youth have access to a lot of information.
Absolutely.
When you look at most of the governance systems which are currently in place, procurement in government is now digitized.
Yeah.
A lot of these processes, governance processes, are digital.
Digitized, yeah.
The youth can be able to access. We invite the youth to be able to blow the whistle.
Absolutely.
The youth should be able to follow the activities of government. The youth should be able to call out any persons entrusted with responsibility in government who does not go as per the constitutional values. Call them out so that we prevent resource privilege before we lose resources which are intended to benefit the majority and then develop our country. So the youth have a very critical role. The kind of space they are operating in is a unique space.
Yeah.
The older generation may not have similar platform.
No,
But for the youth, they are digitally savvy. They can be able to take a lead in this. Over and above that, the youth are 3/4 of the population of the country. You have a much greater stake than any other segment of the population. This is your country. Take it up.
Yeah.
Make it better for yourselves and for your children to come.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for having us, and welcome. Asante sana. Thank you so much. This is your country. This is your space. So be sure to be courageous enough to lead the conversations, to blow those whistles. Be courageous in this fight against corruption. Good morning, sir. How are you? How are you doing today?
I'm well, and you?
I'm doing well. My name is Sharon. What is your name?
My name is Vincent Okongo.
Okongo.
I work for EACC.
You work for EACC.
Yeah.
Karibu sana sa. Today we are commemorating the International Anti-Corruption Day.
Right.
And of course the theme is surrounding the youth. What are some of the ways EACC is involving the youth in the fight against corruption? You can just look to the camera.
First of all, I'm excited to be here.
Yeah.
Because as a director in charge of preventive services, my role is to work with all stakeholders in the fight against corruption.
Yeah.
And the youth are the key stakeholder.
Absolutely.
Given the current theme of uniting the youth against corruption, safeguarding the future, tomorrow's integrity.
Yeah.
So as a commission, we involve the youth in terms of in-school youth, as well as out-of-school youth, and youth that are in colleges, universities, and various formations in the society.
Yeah.
For instance, we have a program called Integrity Clubs in schools that bring together young people in primary school, in secondary schools, to shape the integrity of their colleagues in secondary schools and primary schools. And these integrity clubs are very key in terms of even averting unethical practices, in terms of averting strikes.
Yeah.
And in the next 1 week, we are going to showcase integrity clubs in the Conference of State Parties next week.
Oh, amazing.
In Doha, Qatar.
Amazing.
And it's a showcase for the world, what Kenya is trying to do, and at least what EACC is trying to do in the fight against corruption, working with the youth. Secondly, we have integrity movements in institutions of higher learning, especially universities, where we work with those integrity movements to have a critical mass of young people who shape the destiny of leadership. Because these are the leaders who are getting into the market tomorrow, and they are going to be captains of industries, they are going to be senior public officials.
Absolutely.
So we want to ensure that when they get out of university, their character, their mind, their development is right to shape the future of our country. So we have a very robust program that involve the youth in the universities.
Yes.
And we have had a number of conferences. Beyond that, we have working with youth out of school, those who have graduated, who are in industry, who are doing different things.
Yeah.
And more recently, we had an X-Space conversation with some of the young people calling themselves ACSAP, if you know ACSAP. Yeah, and they were telling us the importance of the youth taking leadership responsibilities and roles, and ensuring that our resources are utilized in the proper channels. And they have a critical role to play in shaping that destiny, which really in your hands as we speak.
It is. And thank you so much. I think that is a very good thing to hear, that we actually have programs within the commission that are helping with the fight against corruption. Now, finally, even as I let you go, EACC yesterday released the annual 2024-2025 report, and of course we can see that there are strides in the fight against corruption. The country can see that, the young people can see that. So can you say that there is hope for our country in the next either 5 or even 3 years? What can we hope for as a country in terms of our fight against corruption?
Thank you. There is hope for this country. Given, for example, the commitment young people are putting towards the fight against corruption. So there is hope. Based on the results that I saw in that annual report yesterday, the Commission is making significant strides to ensure that we recover corruptly acquired assets. And that's a flagship project for the Commission that is really working. The second component is the whole question of prevention of corruption. We want to ensure that we strengthen systems of accountability in our public and private
sectors,
institutions. And so long as we have strong institutions, I can assure you the place of the fight against corruption is much stronger than we can imagine. Thirdly, we are ensuring that we use the competency-based curriculum to infuse character development, integrity, and anti-corruption and ethics in our system of formal learning,
education and learning.
From pre-primary and for me, those are very critical criteria we are putting in place. Obviously, the aspect of investigation of corruption is also taking place.
Yeah.
And that is leading to a lot of prosecutions that we witnessed in that report.
Yeah.
So the future is bright. What we require of Kenyans, and especially the young people, is to join us in this war. We are ready to work with you, and we look forward to your passion, your participation, to ensure that when we hand over the baton at the commission, we have ready and committed young Kenyans who can take this Kenya to the next level.
Thank you so much, sir. Beautiful insights. Asante sana.
Asante.
Thank you.
Karibu.
All right, starting from the ground up. Beautiful insights there from Mr. Vincent from the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. As we go on, we'll keep having these conversations. Again, we are coming to you live from the Kenyatta International Convention Center here in Nairobi as we commemorate the International Anti-Corruption Day. I really like the conversations that we are having today, and specifically to know that we as young people have a role to play in ensuring that we have a country that our future generations can rely on. And what I actually like the most is the analogy or the philosophy of prevention, which is better than cure. How can we prevent corruption as young people and not just waiting for it to blow up, not for us waiting for, having cases of corruption for us to start coming up with solutions? How can we start preventing corruption in our schools, in our homes, in our places of work, our organizations? That is a conversation we are going to keep having. So be sure to also comment down below with your thoughts on the same. Be sure to comment down below on your thoughts on the same and how young people can plug into this conversation. Hello. How are you?
I'm fine.
What is your name and how are you feeling about today?
Okay, I'm Nemo from Egerton University.
Yes.
I'm a student leader.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm currently serving under the Docket of Finance.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yes, you're currently serving another Docket of Finance.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm really happy to be here.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You're really happy to be here.
Yeah.
What are some of the conversations that you are looking forward to having, and what are some of the questions you are hoping to get answered from the conference we're going to have today?
The main question I'm looking for its answer is like, how are we going to solve the corruption that is ongoing in our country practically, not just discussing.
So you're looking at what are some of the practical solutions, practical actions that we as young people, rather the commission and every other partner involved is going to provide. Now, what do you think is your role as a young person, and especially as a student leader in your university? What are some of the things you as an individual are doing to ensure that even corruption that is happening in schools, that is being sorted out?
Okay. Mimi kama like kiongozi, kitu wanafanya ni like you lead by example. Si ati unaenda unasema kitu huko nje and then ukifika kwa ground unafanya kinyume, unaona? So like naona tu to lead by example. Hawa watu wametuelect wakituaminia, unaona? So ukifanya kinyume, so una expect nini hao wenye walikuelect ukiingia kwa hiyo ofisi? Pia usi watafanya kitu wazi.
Kweli.
So naona tu the best way ya kueliminate kitu ni ukiingia huko ndani, si eti unaangalia like wewe kibinafsi una gain aje. Ukiingia huko si eti unajisahau, unaona? Unashinda ukijikumbusha like mbona nimekuwa elected, na si mtu mwingine. Na unafanya tu the right thing.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
To preach too.
It's time for us to put it into action and be leaders who lead by example.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Asante sana. And of course, we are also going to be encouraging you to take this conversation back to your universities, back to your spaces, and any other areas and spheres of influence, mahali ambapo ulipo, and ensuring that this conversation keeps going.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you too.
Hi. Yes, so even for university student leaders, remember most of these people who end up in places of, either in parliament or in public sectors, cabinet ministry, ministers, whatever it is, often it starts with being student leaders in our universities, in our schools. And what is important is that even in our own spheres of influence, how are you leading by example? What are some of the examples that you are setting out for those that you lead? So that even as you demand for people to have integrity, even as you demand for ethical leadership, that you too are demonstrating that in action. Hello, how are you?
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling awesome.
You're feeling awesome.
Yeah.
Today we are commemorating the International Anti-Corruption Day, and the theme is uniting with youth, as the youth, against corruption and shaping tomorrow's integrity. Why don't you start with telling us your name and what would a Kenya without corruption look like for you?
So basically my name is Hezbon Bahati Saya.
Yeah.
Also popularly known as Baba Taifa.
Baba Taifa.
Yeah, I'm an
Amazing.
artist. So I'm a conscious artist. I do hip hop, both recording and live performing.
Yeah.
And I'm based in Embakasi.
Embakasi, okay.
Yeah. So firstly, to thank the AYLF to coordinating and also partnering with the other stakeholders to bring this to light.
Yeah.
And straight on to your question. The country we are looking forward without corruption, or a country with zero corruption, is a country where everybody is truthful to themselves and truthful to the systems that are in place. Yes.
Okay. I like that you've said that you're an artist. You've said Baba Taifa.
Yes.
What are some of the creative ways that you think we as young people, and you can even start with an example of what the creative ways or means with which you are doing to help combat corruption? Because sometimes we think it's a technical thing, it's rocket science, but we as young people, what are some of the creative ways that we can help with this fight against corruption?
One of the greatest, I think, from the longest time. On earth. Music has been the greatest tool for social change. And as an artist, I peg my body of work on artistic expression that specifically speaks about truth to power. And when I say truth to power, basically I say we don't filter words. Like we go straight on to the point. When it's corruption, we say it's corruption.
It's
we don't
corruption,
hide, So one of the greatest tools that personally I use is music. And there are a couple of other instruments that you can use, perhaps like graffiti. We've seen a number of times when people, go astray. We use graffiti artists to paint images of the things that happen in the society. We can also narrow it down to poetry, for example. Poetry, both written and performance. Even when we were in high school, we read about Kifo Kisimani,
Yes, absolutely.
Damu Nyeusi and the stuff. There are materials that specifically speak about truth to power, and those are artistic expressions. So for me, I think it's just making it a continuous process for artists to continue doing whatever they do and protect their voices, because most of the time artists who speak truth to power, they get either censorship or they get to be arrested or things to do like that, just to try and shrink their voices. So I think one of the greatest tool is art, but also an art that is protected from being violated by stakeholders or like whatever.
I like that we have creative ways that we can engage in, creative expressions that we can engage in, whether it's art, music, poetry, literature, like we've talked about, and doing it boldly but also in an intentional and also smart way, so that we can protect our voices and ensure that our voices are heard. Now, I will not allow you to leave here without giving me either a freestyle or any piece of work that you have done to our audience. Yes. So please, feel free.
That was an off guard, but so walisema mimi mlevi sita standard tall sikuanguka nimestand mimi mtall, na in case kuanguka kwa Christ nitafall. Wana testify sai, wana manifest, kajifanya so slow, wakanita kono kwa relay, walinikunjia mikono wakidai siwezi siaka juu ninakaa mnono, nikatoka nduki wakafeta mdomo.
Hey, thank you so much, Gibson. Asante sana. That is Gibson, also known as Baba Taifa. You said you're based in Embakasi.
Yes, Hesbon Bahati, Baba Taifa from Embakasi 33.
From Embakasi.
Yes.
Asante sana, Gibson. That was beautifully done and beautifully said. Yes, there are a lot of creative ways that we as young people can express our fight and express our voices, even in the fight against corruption. And of course, it's doing this in a smart, in a bold, and in an intentional way, and ensuring that our voices are protected, ensuring that our voices are heard. So be bold, be courageous, use whatever means of creative expressions that you know, whether it is writing, whether it's literature, whether it's music or art, whether it's graffiti, whatever it is, use whatever channels of expression that you have to ensure that we as young people are involved and plugged in the conversation of corruption. Yes. We keep having more conversation. Like I said, we are coming to you live from the Kenyatta International Convention Center, and AYLF is honored and glad to be part of this conversation. So please engage with us on our comment section. Write to us. What are you expecting to hear from today? What are some of the conversations and the answers that you are hoping to get? And of course, we'll do our very best to get back to you and to engage with you on the same. Hello, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Hi.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing great.
What is your name and how are you feeling about today?
My name is Jedida Wendiawero, and I am honored to be part of this conversation that you're having. And I feel like understanding that 2027 is around the corner, it's important to have such conversations to see and engage the youth and to know where they stand. Yeah, so that at least we can know where we stand 2027 and how the political scene will be. Yeah.
As a young person, what are some of the ways in which you are engaging in today's theme of, uniting with the youth against corruption? And actually, what are some of the ways you are shaping tomorrow's integrity, shaping tomorrow's ethical leadership?
For me, first of all, I want to register as a voter come 2026.
Yeah.
I've been having issues with my ID. Therefore, 2026, that is one of my goals in the political scene. But also in terms of fighting corruption and making people understand what politics is and how they can get involved. I'm doing a lot of activism on social media, on all of my handles, Instagram, TikTok. I'm trying to make people understand what politics is, how they can join, and what is just going on in the political scene, because I believe there's so much negative information from the media, and therefore we have to engage youth where they are. So getting to see them and getting to talk to them in social media is one of the ways that I'm really trying to talk to youth. And also having community engagement. So far I have been having some of them, especially in Embu and Meru, where I have chosen to also start a small CBO. So we are trying to do a lot of community engagement prior to 2027 election, and also for people to understand what elections means, because if you even look at the by-elections that have taken place, there's a lot of corruption, there's a lot of monkey business that has gone on, and therefore doing such community work so that we can have more people in the political scene, especially the young people, because they constitute the majority of this country.
And I like what you're saying, that you have your activism work on your social media platforms, because that is where most of our young people are. Most of us as young people, we are actually on social media. But you see, most of the time, social media can just be a means to just shine a light. But sometimes our work as young people has always been just shouting and shining light on what is happening, but we are still apathetic in terms of action. And I like what you've said, that you are other than raising awareness on social media, you are still going to your communities with the CBO. So why don't you talk more about that? What is your CBO? What is the name of your CBO? What are you all about? And what are some of the on-ground work that you are doing?
Okay, so all this came about through my fellowship that I was doing.
Yeah.
I was doing a fellowship called Imara Policy Fellowship, which we are taught on what policies are and how they influence people. And during the fellowship, we actually go to the counties, to specific counties. During my fellowship, we went to 3 counties in particular, Meru, Nyamira, and I've forgotten the other one, Kajiado. So in the communities, we're doing a lot of community engagement. And for me, I was particularly in Meru, and there were a lot of issues because by then it was when the governor of Meru was being ousted, and and there were so many issues. For example, all the hospitals in Meru were not working by then, and we are yet to establish whether they are working now, because once we were done with the fellowship, there are a lot of things that have been happening. Therefore, we have not had an opportunity to go back, but we'll definitely revisit. So with all those events that took place, I realized that there's need to do a lot of civic education, especially in rural areas. And therefore, that sparked my ambitions to actually do civic engagement, community mobilization, engagement, and also policy work in those areas. For my organization, it's still in the baby steps.
It's okay.
Yeah, because it's a lot. You know, I went to rural areas and I'm like, well, things are so different from Nairobi, from the advocacy work, from how people even perceive that kind of work. It's so different. Therefore, I'm still finding I would say my roots.
Your roots, yeah.
But come 2026, I believe it will be better. All factors constant, it's called Green Classroom Kenya because it is an organization that seeks to advocate for education. But also I realized education in rural areas is so different because it's so unique because kids don't go to school because of things such as agriculture and climate change. Therefore, it being called Green Classroom, it is a combination of agriculture being brought to the classroom, literally. Through that, you're also trying to combat climate change because in those areas, that is where you actually feel the real climate change.
Effects of climate change.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Jedida. You're doing an amazing job.
Thank you.
And of course, we will keep looking forward to seeing your work. And just to mention that Imara is actually one of our partners at AYLF Kenya, involving young people in policy making. And it's good to see that we actually have alums who are doing great things out here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. That is amazing. As you've heard, we have great people, great conversations going on here. We have young people who are doing the best that they can in their specific areas of influence and ensuring that this conversation of corruption keeps going and we keep having it. So yes, like I have said, we are live on our AYLF YouTube page, so be sure to engage and interact with us. Share this live from wherever it is that you're tuned in from. Have your friends, have your small group members tune in and just plug into today's conversation. This is the 9th of December 2025, and we are commemorating the International Anti-Corruption Day, and we are doing so in partnership with CLIF, that is Kenya Leadership Integrity Forum. We're also doing this in partnership with the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, EACC, and the National Youth Council of Kenya, among other partners. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
You'll just look at the camera and tell me your name, how are you feeling about today, and what are some of the things that you as a young person are doing to help with the conversation on corruption today?
So, thank you very much. I am Dennis Kenyanjui. I am from AYLF, Multimedia University of Kenya. And what I'm doing as a young person, I believe is just spreading the word. Generally, there is this quote from Malcolm X that says, life starts to end. Life starts to end when you become silent about the things that matter. So my general contribution is speaking up and making sure that at the end of the day, we try and form a new generation of leaders that are sane and that are integral and are fighting corruption.
I want you to say that again. Life starts?
life starts to end when we start becoming silent about the things that matter.
Beautiful. So in Multimedia University, what are some of the conversations you're having in your small groups as AYLF? What are some of the engagements you're having? Because we have had one of the directors from EACC who has said that we as young people, at the end of the day, the baton is going to be passed on to us. And that means we need to be ready to take up places of leadership. We need to be ready to take up these positions and ensure that in the future we're not having conversations on how do we cure corruption, but rather we are looking at how are we preventing corruption. So what are some of the things you're doing in your small group and even in your university generally to ensure that this conversation keeps going and we actually have actionable steps?
So the main thing we are doing is internalizing on the things that matter. Like recently we had a conversation and we were speaking about becoming a millionaire, billionaire. And at the end of the day, we came up to a conclusion. There are things that matter more than becoming a millionaire and a billionaire. And one of the things is having a good nation, having a happy nation, having a good life in general. And by this conversation, we try and encourage people to be of service to this nation. And when we are of service, we will try and reduce the corruption and we work on having a better Kenya. Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much for being here today. And of course, we will keep encouraging you to have these conversations in your small groups, to keep having these conversations with fellow small group coordinators and fellow small group members. And yes, like we've said, we need to be ready, guys. We need to be ready to pick up the baton in our various areas of influence, in public sector, in private sector. And the reason I love this conversation is that we as young people have already started making sure that our voices are heard, whether it is on social media, whether it is through activism, going to the street and just raising placards and talking about it. It is important that we've started having these conversations. What is important, or rather more important, is that we find a more constitutional, friendly way, and even challenge some of the areas, even in our constitutions, in our laws, in our policies, whatever it is that is out there. How do we challenge them and ensure that we are preventing corruption? How do we do this and ensure that the systems that we are putting in place are ensuring that the future is more conducive for the generations to come and even fellow young people. So this is not the time to be seated at home, to be quiet and to not take action. This is the time to take action in whatever places and areas that you are in. Hello, good morning.
Hi, morning.
How are you doing today?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. What is your name? Are you still in campus, or what areas of leadership are you currently involved in?
Yeah, so my name is Harriet Duke. I am still a university student, third year university student, studying journalism and digital media, and I am also part of Africa Youth Leadership Forum. I'm currently the assistant coordinator of KCA University Town Campus TLC.
Absolutely. Now, you have said that you are a journalism student, and I like that because one of the stakeholders in the fight against corruption is, of course, the media, and the role of media in ensuring that we are exposing, we are shining a light on some of the systemic issues that we have in society. What would you say the media, we as the media stakeholders, what do we need to do in this role against corruption? And of course, Kwanza, first of all, as young people, we have our various media platforms. Right now, we're all about digital media. You can go on TikTok, you can go on Instagram. How can we use these various digital media platforms to ensure that we're advocating for anti-corruption and that we're even encouraging and whistleblowing accordingly to ensure that this is not something that is experienced in the future?
Yeah, I love that you have shed light, especially on social media, because we have recently been seeing a lot of digital activism happening. That is various influencers coming online, whether it's Instagram, TikTok, or Twitter, just shedding light on the various forms of corruption that we have. So I think as young people, we need to take that step to educate our fellow young people, especially on social media, because 90% of us are just very active on social media. So just continuing being active, doing a video, reposting, just to shed light on how to curb corruption.
Are there any specific ways that you are using your own personal social media platforms to do the same?
Yes, especially on reposting videos of other content creators that I see shedding light. So I take the time to intentionally follow people who are very informed about what is happening, especially in our country. So I make sure to repost the videos that they post and also shed light to some of my few followers to tell them that this and this is happening in our country. So you guys need to know what is happening.
Thank you. I like that. Now, one of the speakers we've had here has talked about how, in as much as we are on social media, we also need to be cognizant of the fact that we also have a lot of negative and toxic information that is being spread online and that might affect our biases, that might affect our worldview, even in terms of corruption. And sometimes you find many people are like, by the time nafika huko hata mimi nataka, when I enter into a political seat or any place, it's now my chance to eat, my chance to steal. What are some of the ways we can filter out some of the negative information, or how do we stay alert to know what kind of content to consume on social media? How can you tell that this is meant to manipulate? Because social media has also been used to disinform young people. Social media has also been used to lie to young people and now tumengishwa pia kwa mfuko, for lack of a better word. So how do we stay alert and how do we ensure we are not roped in by some of those unethical vices?
I think that comes down to doing your research, because you cannot rely solely on what is on social media. We all know that social media, most of the times, it's just a lie. So you need to do your research. You see this on social media, and you go back to research, read the Constitution, know how this should be done, this and this should be done. So research.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for the conversation.
Thank you.
And of course, we hope that you will also have this conversation with your other members. I like what she has said. It's not just enough for us to engage with what is happening on social media. We also need to actively go and read the Constitution. And on matters corruption, I think it's in chapter 6 from Article 73 to 80 on leadership and integrity. So engage with the Constitution, read the Constitution, so that even if you are, if there are chances or opportunities for you to be disinformed online on social media, I mean, it doesn't happen. So that even as you share information, you're also sharing accurate information, that you're not part of the people who is misinforming and disinforming other people or your audiences. Yes, we have more conversations that are coming. Hello, how are you?
I'm good.
You're good?
Yes.
You can just face the camera. Let me know your name. How are you feeling today? And are you still in campus? Have you graduated? Yeah.
Okay. My name is Siavoga Moses.
You can just look at the camera.
And I'm a campus student at JKUAT, a chemistry student at JKUAT. Yeah, my name is Siavoga Moses, and I'm a chemistry student from JKUAT Juja main campus. Yes.
So what year are you in?
I'm in second year.
The second year.
Yes.
So now that you're not relatively new in campus, but what are some of, even just in JKUAT, but what are some of the loopholes that you are seeing in our universities where young people and even our leadership needs to be more active in terms of corruption? Because corruption also happens right there in our institutions.
Yeah, the root cause of corruption, mostly in the campus. Maybe we cannot just only blame the management alone and those in power alone, but also inaanza na sisi huku chini, because you find that from the club, maybe I can give an example.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, because there is this money that clubs always gives out. Yeah, and you find that the council that is responsible for that asks a certain percentage after giving such kind of money. They inquire a certain percentage, and you can find that it begins with both the student and in collaboration with the management. They both engage in these acts of corruption. So I think for me, according to my own personal opinion, I can say that the fight against corruption must begin with every stakeholder. Mostly in my institution, every stakeholder must be responsible. If it is the Students' Council, they need to maintain the integrity and work according to what the Constitution stipulates. Yes, we should not only leave this work for the government or EACC. No, we must fight it from the bottom, and also our voices matters in such like matters. Yes, we should speak out. We should not see such like an action and keep quiet. And also we ourselves, we should not indulge in it. Yeah, because I'm a leader myself. I lead a club. And there was a time we encountered such like a situation, and we had to reject such kind of money because we believe in integrity ourselves.
Absolutely. I like that you've said that. It's not just about fighting corruption, but also ensuring that we ourselves are part of that fight. Now, as a young person, you've talked about speaking up. Do you think our voices as young people, do you think our voices are protected enough as young people? Because it's easy for us to say that we need to whistle blow and call out people who are pushing corruption, but do you think our voices have actually been protected, or do you think we have what it takes to speak out without bringing any sort of harm to ourselves and to those that we care about?
First of all, I can say our voices are so loud. We are speaking out as young people against this dragon of corruption. But then the problem is our voices has been suppressed in a way. Because you find that when we express our views, when we are expressing our views, and when we are trying to fight this dragon of corruption, you find that they try as much as to silence us. First of all, from the laws they put in place, the laws they have put in place, they do not favor our voices. If you go to the social media, youth are speaking. So right now the conversation is about about corruption. Every day when you wake up in the media, there is corruption. And the youth are speaking out in TikTok, Instagram, and all the social media hands. And also in the grassroots, even in campus. For example, even I myself, I speak. But then you find that the laws that have been put in place does not favor our voices. Our voices are not being heard. So personally, I feel like our voices are not protected that much. There is some way that we are being silenced through the laws that those who are responsible to make the laws that should make our voices loud are trying to silence us by putting up policies that do not favor us. So my personal opinion, I feel like our voices are loud, yes, we are speaking out, but then our voices are not protected that much.
Absolutely. Now, finally, before I let you go, if you had 2 minutes to speak to those in those areas of influence, those who are in charge of putting these policies in place, even as we ourselves ensure that we are also taking part in this policy making, what would you tell them? You can look into the camera. What would you tell such people?
Number one, I can say that we need to know that first of all, corruption will thrive in silence. Corruption will thrive in silence, but integrity will grow when we take a general initiative. And this general initiative, we need to have a general mindset so that even if we are electing leaders, we are not electing leaders for those who are going to put those policies. First of all, it begins with us, with the mwananchi. We should not put leaders there according to maneno za chama or maneno za mtu wetu. We should put their people who we see integrity in them. And also those who are in parliament, they should not make laws which only applies to other people, and they themselves they make laws that favor them, you see. They make laws that favor them. So we want these people to make laws that applies to everyone, whether it is them or the common mwananchi. They make laws that applies, that cuts across all sectors, whether the corporate sector, whether the any sector, they should erect laws, and such like laws should be strict laws, so that we can give more power to EACC, like as an institution like EACC. For example, I see EACC is trying as much, but then you find like the people like the elites, the untouchable in the society. We should put laws in place which should make sure that even these elites are brought to justice when they indulge in such like corruption. So I feel like there should be strict policies that should be erected in this country, where corruption right now is a dragon, and fighting it will include everybody. Now, the policies that should be put in place should be strict in such a way that it cuts across, whether you are an elite in the society or you are the poor mwananchi hapa chini mwenye una include in kitu kidogo chronicles, it captures you. The policies should be put in place to capture all those people in the society.
Absolutely. Asante sana. Thank you so much for your passionate remarks. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
We continue having the conversation. If you're just joining us live, be sure to write us your comments and your feedback in the comments section. I really love the conversations that we are having here today. Like I said, we are commemorating the International Anti-Corruption Day here at KICC on this 9th of December, and I am joined by
Lucy Mora.
Lucy Mora, how are you? How are you feeling today?
I'm doing great. I'm feeling good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Today we are talking about corruption and how we as young people should be involved in the fight against corruption so that we can shape tomorrow's integrity, so that we can shape tomorrow's leadership. What are some of the things you as Lucy are doing as an individual in contribution to this conversation?
In contribution to this conversation, one thing I'm doing as myself is actually empowering myself with knowledge, because as much as it sounds cliche, knowledge is power. Like, there are so many gaps when it comes to corruption. Like, for instance, people don't know how to report corruption. The common youth doesn't know how to report corruption. We might be interacting with so many cases of corruption, but we don't know how to go about it. We don't know how to... we don't understand the constitution well enough to even bring people to accountability, even in public spaces where our rights are involved. So one of the things I'm doing is actually educating myself and my peers so that we start this conversation, especially now that it's a very good moment that now the youth are being brought into the space, not just as numbers, but our voice really matters.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that, educating yourself, because at the end of the day, what is this quote that says that my people perish? Actually, it's even a Bible verse. My people perish because of lack of knowledge. When we are not well informed, when we do not have when we are not empowered with the information and the knowledge that we need in terms of corruption, it is easy for us to get manipulated. And what would you say as a young person are some of the ways in which we become vulnerable towards even the public sector? Because corruption tumesema inaanza tu huku chini. Either you're told pay something small for you to get a good grade in school. Hata if you're driving unaambiwa lipa kitu kidogo usiingie ndani. What are some of the ways we expose ourselves to become manipulated or even find ourselves being corrupt as young people? Because we do have young corrupt people.
Yes, actually, I was discussing with someone in the morning, and I feel like we always blame politicians and people in public offices for corruption, but there are so few. Like, for instance, let's say in the case of MPs, there are 292 constituencies or 297, and then you add the nominated ones. As compared to 55 million other Kenyans. So I think integrity starts with us, and most of the issues that we are having as a cause of corruption are actually perpetuated by young people.
Young people, absolutely.
For instance, people in the care spaces, people in other offices, when you accept a small bribe, you will lose a lot of resources because someone has accepted a small bribe. People trying to evade taxes and then they pay you something small. Young people are involved in that too. Even in our campus politics, you pay something small, you get elected, and then you it's so many spaces, and I feel like integrity starts with the common mwananchi as well, not just the leaders in the public offices.
Do you think we as young people, do you think we are ready to take up the baton from our leaders? And do you think we will be any different from those that are in power right now?
Yes and no. Yes, because we have people actually who are really passionate about this, who are ready to, you want to start from yourself and change the space where you are in.
Yeah.
But no, because if everybody around you is corrupt, and that's the way like the system works, somehow it's usually you are likely to be actually like get lost if you continue advocating for something that doesn't exist. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for your time, Lucy. You're doing an amazing job, and of course we encourage you to keep this conversation going. We encourage you to even keep encouraging young people to stay informed, to read the Constitution, and to call out corrupt leaders, to call out corrupt individuals. It doesn't even have to be any person in power. Ata Mama Mboga anaweza kuwa corrupt, ata Makanga, whoever it is. Let's keep having these conversations. Thank you so much. I will have one final person to come join me. One final person. Okay, hi, how are you?
I'm good.
How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling good.
Tell us your name. You can just look to the camera. Tell us your name. Are you a student leader? Are you still in campus?
No.
Have you graduated? Just come get a bit closer. Yes, and
My name is Achieng Bura Dikini. I am a student in JKU Art, a student leader in the school as well as in the Christian Union. Yeah.
So what specific position? You've said you're a student leader. What specific position?
I serve as a peer counselor.
Peer counselor.
Yeah, as well as even in the school association, serving as a member.
Okay, so today we are talking about anti-corruption. We are commemorating International Anti-Corruption Day, and we are talking about how we as young people are involved in the fight against corruption. What would you say? Do you think young people have been actively involved? As a peer counselor, what the kind of young people you have interacted with, do you think we have what it takes as young people to fight corruption?
Okay, I definitely think we have what it takes to lead as young leaders, because sometimes we tend to look at things and we're like, probably corruption will never end. But definitely it starts with me. It starts with me thinking that I, as Bura, can make a difference where I am, and therefore my influence can influence others to also to make a decision to live a life that is integral. It starts with the simple things such as coping in exams. I feel like that is something that is very relevant to most of my student friends, because you realize that it's very easy for you to just like decide to let me not study and just do something else, But then you realize that integrity is something that starts with me, that I need to, as well as it's a God-given chance for me to showcase integrity in my setup as a student and even after.
You've said you work as a peer counselor. Do you think we have some level of hopelessness where young people are like, tayari watu wanachoma huko, like the system is already corrupt. How will I survive in such a system? Do you think there's a level of hopelessness, a degree of hopelessness among young people? And what do you think we can do to revive our hope, to stay active, to be actively involved in the little things, like you've said, if it's not coping exams, if it's not just those little things that might compromise our values. What would you say about that?
I'll say that be the change that you want to see, honestly. I feel like, as I've said, many other times we look like, and we're like, hey man, I don't think things can change from where they are. But definitely if we decide to, this is something that we can change together. It's something that will start with me sharing to you. Like my influence is how people will be able to change. So it's something we can look into, it's something we can change. It's something that's not something like it's dormant, it's constant. As well as, I love the Bible, honestly. And constantly when I think about the example that Jesus gives to me, it explains to me that I need to be integral wherever I go, whether I'm in class, in every setup I'm in, I need to be integral. So I feel like my influence in my fellow friends, even though it may not be as much, but I'm definitely willing to do that for the rest of my life.
Now finally, as we conclude, what are some of the, what are you hoping to gain from today? Like Leo Ikiisha, once we close the program, what do you want to have gained? What are some of the knowledge and insights you hope to have gained as an individual? And Yeah, what are you looking forward to in terms of Kenya's future? Because we are the leaders of tomorrow, and we are shaping tomorrow's integrity. What are you looking forward to in that regard?
First of all, I am very grateful to be here. Like getting the opportunity to be here in this forum, it's not something I take for granted. And honestly, what I'm looking for is to be able to have insights, to be able to share, to be able to learn, and unlearn some things, you know. And the opportunity to be here with my fellow friends is something that we hope that we'll be able to look back and be like, we were there in that forum and we made a change from here. And so I'm really looking forward to a lot of things.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Acheng. We appreciate you. We hope that you also have a good time in there. I believe that we have just about wrapped it up, but I will have one last person. Hello, good morning. How are you today?
I'm very fine. Good morning to you too.
Good morning.
Yeah.
What is your name and what are you hoping to gain from today's conversation?
My name is Frederick. I am from JKU Arts, and what I'm expecting to learn from today is the various avenues and the various means that I as a youth can participate in curbing corruption in our nation. Yeah.
How do you relate to today's theme? The theme of this year's International Anti-Corruption Day is uniting with youth against corruption. How do you as an individual interact or relate actually with this theme? And what are some of the actions that you as an individual are taking towards the same?
So how I interact with this particular topic is, you see, corruption is an ill of the character, and if we try to curb it only with policies, it won't really come to effect if the people haven't bought the idea. So, what my mental state that I have today is, how can I as a person, I don't want to listen to how the government does it or how various institutions do it, but how I as a person can do it, how I can influence my friends to do it. And the way I have done it is I call out corruption when I see it. Nikiona rafiki, if I see my friend anasainiwa in na hajakuja class, I'm like, why do you want to, you aren't in class, so why are you doing that? Now if personally I can say to the best of my ability, I try to not engage in if I cannot do it, I cannot do it. I don't try to hide it. I don't try to mask it in any form or shape. Let's just put it the way it is. Na hivyo ndio iko. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you and thank you for the plugging into today's conversation. We of course encourage you to take this back to your university, to any other areas of influence that you are in. Let them keep having this conversation so that we just don't wait until next year, 9th December, to come again and talk about corruption, but let it be a conversation that keeps on.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yes, and finally, oh my days, this has been amazing, guys. There's so much insight I'm getting, not only from you, but even just insights from just listening to what you guys are talking about. I am joined by my very capable and capable co-host. Alikuwa anafaa kuwa co-host lakini sijui alienda wapi. But thank you so much, Emmanuel. Kuna makosa ilifanyika. Thank you so much for having us here. Sure. Unafeel aje leo?
I feel fiti. I think you should grab some water.
Yeah?
You should grab some water. Maybe a breather.
Yeah.
You've been talking endlessly. I was telling our director there that, hey, msichana ameyap.
Let me tell you, I'm a professional yapper.
So if you're looking for a professional yapper,
I am right here. Chabai Kaptuya.
Yes, exactly. On socials?
On socials, it's Sharon Chabai by Sharon on Instagram, and then Chabai by Kaptuya everywhere else. Actually, if you just Google Sharon Chabai, you'll get all my social media.
Sharon Chabai on TikTok,
everywhere,
Instagram,
everywhere.
Are you on Facebook?
I am on Facebook. And I also have a podcast of myself. Mini Gen Z, what do you mean?
Na uko Facebook.
Sasa.
I think Majenzi wanasema hakuna ati
unaona how
you
see, in as much as we are saying that corruption starts with us as young people, also people perpetrating corruption sai kuwaita wazee, but wako wapi?
Facebook.
Wako wapi? So if we are calling out corruption, we are calling out corruption on all
kila mahali.
Platforms,
Facebook,
everywhere.
TikTok,
Yep.
X,
Kila
Snapchat.
mahali. Even Snapchat.
Yes, Snapchat.
Yes,
Tuko na
Telegram, everywhere.
Telegram nayo. Una fight corruption Telegram.
Everywhere.
All right. Allow me to take a few guests to hear the expectations from today's engagement. To have a breather and perhaps take some water. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Nakuita tena. Thank you so much for joining us live. Please come over. You can tell us your name, where you're coming from, and perhaps your today's expectation from the engagement.
All right.
Look directly into the camera.
All right. Thank you so much. My name is Emmanuel Nakola, and
Emmanuel.
Thank you so much, and I'm happy to have you having me.
Sure.
I'm really grateful. Yes, I am serving with Focus Kenya, and I'm an integrity champion.
Really?
Yes.
So what do you do as an integrity champion?
The first thing I do as an integrity champion is, number one, getting the young people to be aware of what exactly we are talking about when it comes to corruption, and championing and fighting against it, and standing and defending integrity. So for me, I have taken upon myself, having seen the damage that corruption has brought into our world.
Oh, you've experienced corruption?
Yeah, several times.
Tell us a scenario.
There are several scenarios. Maybe I can just pick one. One of them is when I was going for my first placement when I was a student. I found somebody wanting to charge me because of like getting into a position for a placement. And I thought that was too much because it was not even a job yet.
How much were they asking?
I think it was 8,000 about.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
Would you afford that money then?
I wouldn't.
And
I was just from school.
Pole sana.
Yeah,
what did you do though? You paid that money, right?
I was like,
no, you paid that money.
I didn't.
You're corrupt.
Look, I think that's where now I started becoming aware.
I think he's corrupt. I think he's corrupt.
No,
Guys, I think he's corrupt.
No, that's where you see, when I began to actually realize that if that's what's happening in hospitals and government and public facilities, then many young people are being taken advantage of. And I felt like that's quite a thing for me to stand and say, look, this is not something we are going to pick. This is not something that we're going to tolerate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Briefly tell us the role of Focus Kenya in fighting corruption and how they are creating platforms for young people to fight corruption and ensure we have transparent institutions and platform for every Kenyan in the country.
All right. So Focus Kenya is a body that equips students to live out their God. It's a Christian-based organization. And one of the things that, corruption is an issue of the heart. One of the things that Focus does is equipping students to, first of all, live godly lives, make sure that their allegiance is not to any person but to God, so that now they will be accountable to God more than they will be accountable to some system. So Focus Kenya produces mass materials, study guides, and organizes seminars and conferences that will help students to be equipped and to even be in a position where they can say no to any kind of injustice, any kind of corruption.
Sure.
So it is a body that is helping young people in campuses to actually realize what they need to do.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You mentioned that Focus Kenya provides a platform for young people to ensure that you have transparent institutions. And as ALF Kenya, you see one of our core values is integrity.
Yeah.
Perhaps we could explore areas of collaboration with Focus Kenya.
Okay. So I think the first thing is there is a lot that if you guys, AYLF, would want to collaborate with Focus Kenya, I think the best thing is maybe see what we got, and then we see what you got, and then we can now be able to, for example, for the books, for the forums that we usually have on leadership development and ethics and values. I think that's a thing we can be able to collaborate for equipping.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel.
Thank you.
Looking forward to having you around and from hearing from you during the engagement.
Thank you so much for having me. Asante. God bless you.
Asante. Hello and welcome. Tell us your name, where you come from, and perhaps your expectations from today's conversation.
Thank you so much. My name is Jimna Chege. I come from Focus Kenya. I'm an associate there, and it's a great thing to be here today as we talk matters integrity and matters ethics, because that is the backbone and that is one of the things that really matters for any development in any country and in any nation.
Sure.
Yeah.
Are there any specific expectations you're looking forward to hearing?
Yeah.
This conversation?
Yeah, sure. I'm very expectant as you talk about integrity and actually the role of we as youths when it comes to promoting integrity in this nation. I mean, we've been seen over and across the board advocating for good leadership, advocating, against corruption. But then how do we stand out and how do we become practical in the fight towards corruption and the journey towards good leadership and integrity?
You mentioned about being practical in fighting corruption. Are there methods or rather activities or engagements that Focus Kenya is doing practically to engage the young people in fighting corruption in the country?
Yeah, definitely. And I think one of the things as we talk about corruption, we need to have integrity. And integrity, it's not just something that we do once in a while, but it is something that we must cultivate deep within ourselves. And so as Focus Kenya, we work with the Christian unions and the students in the universities, which is one of the very prime area because we are helping them to shape not just actions that promote integrity, but to build their convictions about integrity. Yeah, so once they have the convictions, then they will be able to stand for that even when they're employed. And these are the people who are going to be in these institutions. So when you build their integrity and their perception about integrity right away from campus, then we are very much sure that if that when they get into the corporate, we are having the right dose.
Sure.
Yeah.
I want you to look right into that camera and tell the young people just one thing. One thing. You see, today we are celebrating the young people and the role of young people in fighting corruption. Nataka angalia ile kamera uambie my youth kitu moja yenye itawasaidia kufight corruption in the country.
All right. Sisi kama my youth, one thing that will help us to fight corruption, it's to hold integrity. It must start with us for us to be able to hold other people, the leaders in those positions, be it the elected leaders, the leaders in the church, in the workplace. We are able to hold them accountable, but then if we are to do it, then we must hold integrity and have integrity we ourselves first. Yeah.
Thank you so much. See you around.
Yeah, great.
Asante sana. Hi and welcome. Tell us your name. Tuambie kama wewe ni mcorrupt. Wewe ni mfisadi?
Hapana, mimi si mfisadi. No.
Uko sure?
Yeah.
Unapananga matatu imejaa?
No.
Panangi?
Yeah, I prefer.
Hata ikiwa saa 5 usiku wezi panda. Sema tu kweli.
Ukweli.
Sema tu kweli.
It depends. I can't put myself in weird hours at that time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Karibu sana. Tell us your name and where you're coming from.
Okay. My name is Mompai Christine. I'm a student at the University of Nairobi, Faculty of Law.
Karibu sana wakili. Now, are there specific conversation you're looking forward to today?
Sorry?
Are there specific expectations or other conversation you're looking forward to hearing today?
Yes, definitely I do have expectations. Now that this is a forum that has been organized to prevent corruption, I'm expecting to hear that probably I've been knowing ways of fighting corruption, but probably this is a place I will come and hear how can I be an advocate of fighting corruption and enhancing justice. Yes.
Asante. Thank you so much. Looking forward to hearing from you and interacting with you today.
All right.
Asante sana. All right, thank you for joining us today. We're looking forward to having a meaningful conversation today. And with me, I have a crowd of young people here who are looking forward to sharing their insights today with us. Karibu sana, tell us your name and tell us where you're coming from and perhaps your expectations from today's conversation.
Okay, thank you. I'm Abakar Med Isaac. I'm a student from the University of Nairobi. I came here as Ajira Secretary General from the Faculty of Education. And I'm expecting today maybe to meet with the people who worked in integrity space, who fought in corruption and all that. Thank you.
Are you corrupt yourself?
No, I'm not corrupt. corruption.
Are you sure?
I usually fight in this corruption. I usually, when I even bother to bus, even today in the morning, you see some police officers who are asking like, "Lete kitu kidogo." You see, so I usually face like, I am against all such things, and I always tell them, this is not right. Whenever I meet them on the road, maybe I'm walking, seeing them.
So ukitisho kitu kidogo utapeana?
I don't know, sitaipea.
Uko sure?
Yeah.
Ukienda ku apply passport pale Nyayo House, wakuishie 10,000. Uko sure utapatia?
No.
Si unataka passport in 3 days?
No.
Uko sure utapeana?
No. Sitawaipeana.
Okay.
I know those things, like passport, ID. Those are the things that a person should have, whether you pay or not. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Isaac. Looking forward to interacting with you today.
Okay, I'm also from Ajira Digital. We work in tech, empowering youth towards in technology, working online, giving free trainings to youths across the universities. We offer certificates also at the end of the courses. And thank you.
Asante sana. Aye. Hello and welcome. Tell us your name, where you're coming from.
Okay, I'm Josephine Wavinya from University of Nairobi, Chiromo campus.
Chiromo campus. Wewe ni mfisadi? Unapenda kupenda hongo kitu kadogo?
Hapana, I don't do brides now.
Kwa sure. Sasa uko kwa matatu pale unatoka home unaenda shule. Alafu uone driver anape karao kachwani. Unasikianga aje?
Nasikianga vibaya sana.
Unafanyanga nini kama mwanarika ambaye hapendelei hongo ama hapendelei rushwa?
Okay, now you can't do anything because...
You can't do anything?
No, like if you do anything and let's say like the time is running, but at least sometimes you can ask the conductor, why did you do that? But now they'll tell you if they don't do that. Yeah, you ask them sometimes, but they tell you that if they can't give, then we'll just continue studying the road. And when you look at your time, you'll be late.
Do you think the young people have a role in fighting corruption in the country?
Yeah, I think they have a role.
Please proceed.
Okay, I think even if our generation right now, we are going to start fighting about it, like we be serious on it, we make sure that we influence even the others, even the other generation to come, they will follow our steps. So if we are going to start as youth right now, that means that in the generation to come, they will be able to fight it. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to hearing from you and engaging with you today.
Okay, thank
Asante sana. Perhaps as we get to the... we have a beautiful lady here. Hi, how are you? Karibu sana. Tell us your name and where you're coming from.
So my name is Maggie Hanari. Of course, I'm from Nairobi, Kenya.
You're from Nairobi?
Yes.
Wewe ukiona konda, donda kipeana chwani pale kwa barabara, unasikianga aje?
I feel bad.
Sikianga vibaya. Unafanya nini?
There is nothing I can do because they will do nothing. These cases have always been there. I really feel bad, by the way, and I feel like as a country...
Tunaelekea wapi?
We're ahead.
Tunaelekea wapi?
Tuko pabaya leo kuliko jana.
So unaona donda anapeana chwani kwa karao, alafu huwezi sema anything.
Sasa tu
alafu una feel vibaya.
I have an incident, by the way. So there was a time pia huyo karao alikuja kwa mat. Sasa venye alikuja nikajua tu Kenya anakujia. So we decided that because hawezi report, hawezi fanya kitu, wacha tu intimidate. Kaka hivi hapo kwa dirisha na simu najifanya na record na si record. That karau harassed us. Even she was taking my phone. Yeah, so unaona it can really land me into problems. That is why.
So unaogopa whistleblow? Unaogopa kusema
kwa sababu kuna kitu watafanya. How many cases do we have of corruption? Yes.
Wale sana. Do you think there's hope for Kenya in fighting corruption?
There is hope for Kenya, and I feel like people need to be informed. I like the Gen Zs, the way they come out, they speak for themselves. So if people can stop being greedy, then there is hope. There's a lot of money that can circulate if we can stop being greedy and be a citizen who has integrity, thinking about others. After all, we'll leave this money here. Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. Are you looking forward to any sort of conversation from today's event?
Yeah. I just want to know where we are as a country right now, because we're celebrating it's an anti-corruption.
Yes.
I want to see the statistics. Are we improving or is it going? Yes. That's what I'm hoping to see. Yes.
Nataka uangalie ile kamera.
Yes.
Waambie mayouth wako home wanatuwatch leo. Waambie kitu moja yenye itawa motivate to fight corruption. To ensure that we have accountable, transparent institutions in the country. Angalia camera, ubonge na mayouth wako home sai.
So to my dear youth, there is hope for our country. Because at the end of the day, we are the leaders of tomorrow. So let's continue to speak out. Usiogope. Because when one person speak out, wengine mmenyamaza, inakuwa ngumu. So let's come out. You're people who are elite, tumesoma, we know these things. Yes. So
Thank you so much. And looking forward to interacting with you today and from hearing to hearing your contribution to today's conversation.
Yeah, I really thank you also for this opportunity.
Sure,
I hope it makes a difference, by the way.
It will. We hope so. Si tumesema kuna hope for Kenya.
Yes.
Asante sana.
Thank you so much
thank
for
you
your
for continuing in engaging and supporting the fight against corruption.
Yeah.
Asante sana. Let's get one last more gentleman.
Yes.
You're looking sharp today.
Thank you very much.
Unakaa fiti sana.
Sharp as a
razor. Unasikiaje leo?
I'm feeling bombastic. I'm feeling
bombastic. You said ana feel bombastic. So, tuambie jina yako, unatoka wapi? Okay. Na are you expecting anything from today's conversation?
Yes, my name is Nimrod Aberi. I'm a student of law at the University of Nairobi and part of AOLF. The great.
Of course, yes, exactly.
Yes, thank you. And from what I'm expecting today is what are the steps that have been taken and what are the ground, maybe the background to be given, how the EACC came to place, and what are the regulatory frameworks that are currently ongoing to ensure that we have high standards of integrity in tandem with Chapter 10. Chapter 6 of the Constitution on leadership and integrity. Yes.
Yeah. So you said you're part of OLF.
Yes.
And one of our values down there is integrity.
Yes.
So we kama youth.
Yes.
Unafanya nini kama youth to fight corruption in the country and ensuring that we have integrity in our institutions, in our schools,
yes,
in our universities, in our homes as well.
Yes,
so what's your role as a young person in fighting corruption?
The role of a young person and any other person is to ensure that within your system, let me call it the ecosystem that you are in, that you ensure that you have personal integrity, yes, and you also motivate either your family, be it your sister, be it your brother, be it your teacher, in whatever way. It doesn't have to be about money, because integrity is not all about money. And even if it's about money, ensure that you play your part and whatever money you get is well earned. And also what something I've been observing, that we have created and allowed a culture where corruption and bribery is something normal, where you find that you are asked if you want to get an opportunity, the next question is how much do you have, or
unaka kitu.
Yes, unaka kitu, or someone just asks you how much umesikia ni ngapi.
Umeambiwa ni ngapi.
You see, it has been normalized to a point that I think we don't have, in the ideology of a carrot and a cane. The cane isn't working really well. We need to have something that, in as much as we incentivize the good deeds, we have to have good measures that ensure that those people who go contrary to the laws and regulations are well put in their place. Yes, they get the right punishment or the right corrective measures. Yes.
Okay. So the leo ni uniting with the youth,
yes,
championing against corruption.
Yeah.
Uko na any expectation from today? Utakusikia what from who? Any sort of discussions yenye una look forward to?
Yes. First of all, when I hear the word youth, most of the time it's all about engagement. We need to bring more youths on board. But again, it just ends here. So I would like to have them or listen to them speaking about what are the next steps that will ensure that will be practical, that will have the youths getting on board. What are the boards that are there that the youths can be added into, and what are the ways that the youth can actively be placed to be like the spearheads and to be at the front line of ensuring that leadership and integrity is well upheld.
Sure.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for sharing your insights with us.
Yes.
We're looking forward to interacting with you today.
Yes.
Be sure to pass by and say hi at
Definitely.
our booth.
Yes.
Tuko hapa ndio home. Enda salimia na hapo. Tuki get ready for today's conversation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Yes.
young people sharing their insights and their hope for the country in the journey towards a corruption-free country. Now, we are expecting the chair of the EACC to come and share his insights with us. And I see my host, my fire host. I'm not a fire host because she's fire host. Chibaba is back. Please come over. I know you've taken some water. You've taken a breather. So as we expect the chair to come and share his insights with us and perhaps open today's engagement.
Yeah.
Now, what's your take? Is there hope for Kenya in the journey towards a corruption-free country?
Absolutely. I believe there is hope for Kenya, Emmanuel, because we already have these conversations that are happening and going on. What is just remaining for us as young people is to make sure isiishe tu kwa karatasi. Yeah, let it just not look good on paper that we came for, the International Anti-Corruption Day na iishe tu hapo, but let's actually see what young people are actively doing. Whether it's in school, someone here amesema kama ni shule, if it's copying exams, that already is corruption.
It's corruption.
I think what kitu inatusumbua sana at the moment is the fact that we are not fighting corruption because most of us are benefiting from it. Most times when there are systemic issues, people are not ready to challenge them. People are not ready to question them because it's benefiting them. But at what cost? At what cost? Yes, you have gotten a shortcut into getting success. Ama umesema tu, I am waiting for the minute I get a political seat ndo hata mimi. Actually, in Kenya today, success is through getting a political seat. It's not even about like the work that you put in, because unangoja uingie ndo hata wewe upate. You get a nini at the trough, uweze kupa access to the trough, an opportunity to steal, but it's huko chini, like from school, at home, even when you meet kanjo kwa barabara ama ukishikwa na traffic police, what are you doing? What are you doing as a young person? Because it's only from there that we can say that there is hope for tomorrow. Something else I like that I think is something we need to think through moving forward.
Art and music to, build what? Transparent
awareness.
Yes, exactly. Do you feel the young people have the capacity, rather the ability to use their creativity and innovation to fight corruption?
Absolutely. Actually, we are better placed to fight corruption because right now many of us are into creative forms of expression.
Yes.
We are on TikTok watching what? Dance challenges, skits. So it is now more than ever that we have the opportunity to nataka kukalishwa kwa campaign ama kwa classroom kugombanishwa na kuambiwa ati the nini of corruption.
Kwanza mimi hiyo hainibambi.
No, ati I'm seated there and you're telling me this is not, we are not in that sort of environment anymore where you're telling us the causes of corruption. Ama the what are they called? The results of corruption.
Effects of corruption.
Thank you. This is the time when you need to bring out this message in a comical way, humorous way,
in a creative way.
A creative way that allows people to understand. And it's good that we have watu kama kina Gibson who have already started doing that.
Yes.
And I've even seen we have activist Willie Oeba who is here.
He's around.
Willie Oeba is here today, and we have seen the kind of work he does, even in matatus and with spoken words. These are some of the ways young people can easily relate to.
And I was surprised, rather, have guys from JKUAT performing live from KICC today. Inaitwa je play? Kitu kidogo. I think it's Kitu Kidogo.
Yeah.
Need to check. But if you're around Nairobi, please pass by KICC. We're here till the end of today, and
which is about 4:30 p.m. Give or take. So be sure to come. And it's actually what people tumekuwa accused of apathy, and that is why most of the times we haven't been involved in these conversations because we are not interested. Unasikia mtu anasema I'm not interested in politics. Politics is a dirty game. How is it a dirty game? How is it a dirty game if you are not involved? That thing, that level of hopelessness and helplessness inafaa kuisha.
Get a seat at the table. By the way.
now that we have information, you're not voting just because
Exactly.
your leaders.
Exactly.
And we even have the constitution that is now available for everyone. Go read the constitution. Mambo ya kukaa home na kusema ati whoever must go ama sijui why? Why? Are you informed? Do you have the information? Are you reading your constitution? All that. So
By the way, how many of you guys have read the report that was launched yesterday by EACC?
Yesterday, yeah.
It was launched yesterday.
Yes, it was yesterday.
Time to go through it. Iko pale kwa website, please, if you have time.
Young people can actually hear from today's engagement.
Yeah, what we expect from the young people, first of all, is to understand that this country belongs to them. Yes. They are the majority. About 75% of our population is young.
Yeah.
That means they have more stake in this country.
Yeah.
And we all know corruption is actually a big challenge in our country at the moment. Yeah.
To take on the baton now that the country belongs to us.
Yeah, actually, they are the leaders of today. You are the leaders of today.
Absolutely, I like that. Yeah.
Tomorrow can be anything, but today, the leadership is actually supposed to be the youth. And since they are the majority and they have the voting power, they can decide the kind of governance structure that they require.
Yeah.
Ours is to organize them, to partner with them, to put them together, and to support the ideas that will come from them.
Asante sana, Mr. CEO. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you. All right, Bwana Chair, good morning. Good morning. How are you today?
Very good.
My name is Chabaibai. Thank you so Yes. Okay. Thank you so much for joining us. Right. We are here to commemorate the International Anti-Corruption Day, and we are so excited that EACC is part and leading this conversation. How do you relate to the theme, which is uniting with the youth to end corruption?
You know, the corruption, actually, if there are people who should be concerned about corruption, young people.
Yeah.
Because people who are engaging in corruption are people who are already in positions of authority, of power, of leadership.
Yeah.
And people who have already spent their time, and very soon they'll be exiting the stage for whatever reason, whether by virtue of them no longer holding positions of leadership, or by virtue of retirement, or even death, which is an eventuality.
Yes.
The young person today is going to be the leader then taking those positions.
Positions, absolutely.
So if you find that which you inherit has already been taken away or destroyed, then you have nothing to live for, nothing to work with. And we have seen this in many countries.
Yeah.
So that's why for us as EACC, we are focusing on the young person to really take their place and refuse to let their birthright be stolen.
Absolutely.
It is so very important.
I like that. Now, yesterday, the Commission released the 2024-2025 annual report, just showing the strides EACC and even the country is taking towards fighting corruption. Would you say young people have been involved in this process, and how is EACC working to involve young people even towards reports and strides that will be made in the coming years?
The report that we released yesterday was really, is part of our constitutional requirement and mandate, just to let the country know what is it that we have done over the past 1 year.
Yes.
What are some of the strides?
What
are some of the challenges we have faced? What are some of the recoveries that we have made, and so on. So that's communicating to the nation, this is what we have been able to do. Now, among the things that we reported there were the fact that the young people programs, the youth programs, were initiated at various levels within the course of the year. And we have had a much stronger focus on young people this year, this past year, than we have had before. Just because of the realization that I've talked about, that the young person of today is actually the one who can shape tomorrow. And the seed they plant today is what they will harvest tomorrow. So in that report, we definitely pointed out some of the activities that we did with the young people and the impact that had.
Thank you so much, Bwana Chair. Any last words to our young people who are joining us today? What can they expect as we wrap up?
Yes. As I've said again, I'll say it again. For my call to our young people is this. Short-term gains sometimes are very pleasurable. And you feel like you are making progress. But it is only the person who plans for the future who will survive. And we have seen among young people, talking about corruption, young people who are engaged in cheating in exams, from primary school,
level, high school, universities, yes.
And they think they are making progress, but life proves you otherwise. Young people who have sold their birthright in terms of some of them are hired by politicians. As when we talk about goons, we are talking about young people who have been given some little money to wreak havoc, kill people, and that does not build the nation of tomorrow.
No, it
we
doesn't.
We have seen countries that have totally collapsed because of those kinds of activities. So we must refuse to sell our birthright. We must refuse, no matter how nice it looks for now. We must refuse and build our future instead.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And we look forward to hearing from you inside. Asante.
Okay, good.
Okay. All right, that's just about it. That was the chair of the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. That was amazing, people. That was amazing. And as he said, we as young people should not allow to sell our birthright. Short-term gains, at the end of the day, they have a cost to our future. And I think there's no better way to wrap up the conversation.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us live. And of course, to our fire host.
And my fire co-host.
We've had very beautiful conversation here. And right now we're heading to the main auditorium where the celebrations are happening.
Yes.
So kaa tu hapo, usitoke hapo.
Don't touch that dial.
Tunasonga kidogo tu tunaingia
ndani. And please write us your comments on all our social media platforms at AYLF Kenya. Let's keep this conversation going. Let's engage. And yes, it has been a pleasure holding space for the conversation today. Remember, we are commemorating the International Anti-Corruption Day here at KICC. I've been Chebai by Kaptuya and Mutua Emmanuel. Asante.
Ciao.
the CS, Ministry of Youth Affairs, Creative Economy, Madam PS, the Chairman of EACC, the CEO, EACC, distinguished guests, dignitaries, and our distinguished youth, good morning. I stand to speak on behalf of my CEO of the Media Council of Kenya, Mr. David Omoyo Omoyo, and these are the words he has sent me to share with you. Warm greetings from the Media Council of Kenya, the statutory regulator of the media in Kenya, and importantly, the official media sector convener of the Kenya Leadership and Integrity Forum, CLIF. Today, on International Anti-Corruption Day 2025, under the inspiring theme, Uniting with Youth Against Corruption, Shaping Tomorrow's Integrity, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, and all partners who refuse to accept corruption as normal. The role of the media in the fight against corruption is more vital than ever, as evidenced by the robust coverage of graft in public institutions. Just in this morning, our newspaper and broadcast media reports have delved deeply into EACC's ongoing probes into billions lost to irregular tenders across several counties. Proof that Kenyan media remains a fearless sentinel. As convener of the media sector within CLIF, we see this commemoration not as a one-day event, but as a decisive moment to deepen collaboration between regulators, media owners, generally the next generation of journalists. And young people, welcome to the media. Legacy media, traditional media, new gen media, and creative media, you're welcome. The media's role is clear and indispensable. We expose corruption without fear, inform and empower citizens, amplify whistleblowers, educate the public on the cost of graft, and uphold our own ethical standards, because only a credible media can effectively fight corruption. Credibility, which is a core pillar of journalism, is what allows the media to shape public opinion, influence policy, and sustain long-term cultural change towards integrity. Today's focus on youth is particularly close to our hearts. I want the over 35-year-olds to look around, and I will mean that, turn around and look around. Where are the youth again? Can you see them? When you look around, these are the journalists, these are the editors, and these are the digital communicators of tomorrow. They are in this room and watching online. By investing in them now, we are securing Kenya's integrity for decades to come. The Media Council of Kenya reaffirms here, publicly and unequivocally, our unwavering institutional commitment to the war against corruption. This is not a side activity. It is at the core of our mandate. We will continue to train, to mentor, and to defend journalists who take risks to expose graft. We will continue to defend press freedom, because a muzzled media is the best friend of the corrupt. We will keep working through CLIF and with the EACC, the judiciary, Parliament, the National Cohesion and Values Directorate, civil society, and the private sector, because no single institution can win this fight alone. On behalf of every journalist and media house in Kenya, I pledge expertise and our resolve to stand together against corruption. Together with our youth, we will ensure that tomorrow's Kenya is built on integrity, accountability, now counting on you, young people, to do that with us. Thank you. Santeni sana, and may this International Anti-Corruption Day mark another firm step towards a corrupt-free nation. Thank you.
Another round of applause for Madam Christine. Thank you for those remarks. We are doing well. Now we are going to receive remarks from our Principal Secretary, State Department for Justice, Human Law, Judith Pareno. Welcome, PS. Thank you. Asante.
Honorable Chief Guests, Honorable Vuria, all protocols observed. I also see PS devolution. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know whether it's still morning. Good morning. Is it morning or is it going to afternoon? Afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here. I don't know how institution that is under my department. So it went on very well because the theme is corruption today. And it was just like a warm-up to this particular exercise and expanding public awareness programs, like the one I've just launched this morning for purposes of awareness and sensitization. These efforts reflect our dedication to ensure that justice systems are effective, institutions are accountable, and public trust is safeguarded. Corruption robs our nation of opportunities, diminishes trust in our institutions, and redirects resources away from those who need them most. Overcoming it requires determination, shared responsibility, and unwavering vigilance. I call upon our young people, public servants, civil society, private sector actors, and development partners to work together as a united front. Let us create safe spaces for young youth engagement, support innovation that advances transparency, and build a culture where integrity is the norm, not the exception. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, let us remember that each one of us has a role to play in the fight against corruption, and the future of our nation depends on the choices we make today. Thank you.
Thank you. We can appreciate the PS better. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, PS.
Just this.
PS has something to share.
Yeah, this is the folder that we have from the National Anti-Corruption Steering Campaign Committee. It says, "See Kenya through proud eyes." That is the logo. We want to be proud Kenyans and see Kenya through proud eyes.
Thank you, PS, for sharing. Before I bring the next item, allow me to recognize the Charge d'Affaires from the British High Commission, Dr. Barnett. Welcome, sir. The next item will be a short presentation on artistic expression by the youth, which again will introduce Joyce Munene. Joyce, come and introduce that short piece.
Thank you, Director. Honorable CS, before you joined this morning, we had a team of youth led by Willie Oeba. He's an African poet, empowering young people to fight inequality, uphold integrity, and foster social justice through spoken word. Spoken word is a form of communication. It's powerful, and it's a way we would wish to continue embracing so that we share the same message, but in a way the targeted group, which is the youth, can understand. So we welcome very much with your team. Proceed. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We said leaders are neither born, nor they are. They are? Very good students. Clap for yourselves. Yeah, and we are here because of Article 79 that establishes the EACC. Sindio? So, I'll tell you a very short story because we are marking the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. And leadership and integrity, I learned it from my mom. One clap for the women in the house. And I have an album dubbed Yellow Paper Bag. Because my mom used to be a hawker, a vendor in the streets of Nakuru. And she used to sell bed sheets, curtains, and every time she went out, she used to use the yellow paper bag. The one ilikuwa imeandikwa Jumbo, the one written Jumbo, Opil. Gen Z's in the house, I know you're lost. And we lived hand to mouth. But every time she used to step out of the house, we were sure we would eat. Even though she would come with sugar, quarter kg, I stopped taking sugar though. Unga, half a kg, but we were sure we would eat. Be it rain, be it sunshine. So I want to leave you with something. Consistency is the only thing failure cannot keep up with. Because in this journey towards leadership and integrity, we said it's not easy, but with consistency we will get there. So this piece is dedicated to all the women in the house, all the ladies, all the young people, because also leadership and integrity starts there. Welcome. Of the men towards our ladies. Just trust me and walk with me, okay? So never ask a girl why she is in love with you. More so when it doesn't make you so happy when you look into the mirror, because these girls can be very pretty. Maybe she's in love with the way you look when you sleep. And if she there tells you it's because of your personality, maybe you don't look as good. It is either she tells you she doesn't know why, or she has no reason. But when she tells you this, congratulations. Because your girlfriend has another boyfriend, sorry. Well, these girls cry. These girls cry when they are happy. These girls cry when they are mad. These girls cry when they are scared. Well, all I'm trying to say, sometimes these girls cry when they are not supposed to. You might think. But I will say it for the last time. No girl should miss school because of her menses. Period. Because these girls, when these girls become mothers, mothers who give us education awards, some of them can't even spell. And she taught me. She taught me to be everything that I want to be, but the best thing is to be myself. That I can never have everything, nor the excuse of not having them. That I trust you is a better compliment than have you, since you always love the ones that you trust. But it is not always that you trust the ones that you love. Yes, my mama taught me the art of trust and integrity. So I use my mama's second name because she is masculine, with belly muscles that stretch from the first, second, third to the ninth month, but even stronger lip muscle that utter words that move my soul. You call this the strength of a woman. These are words that have motherly touch from my mama in low tones, whispers and mama. But she has figured, trust me. Forget about that because she is my fatherly figure. I'll make my cheeks fast to this challenge. She walked in transparent clothes so that she never walked in transparent clothes so that God can see her through. She prospers. Not good in football, but in everything she always chipped in. I bet she had so many other goals in life. And the men in the house, unanisikia? Tuachane our girls wasome, sio? Msichana alishika boda kwa high school. Education is the key na mshajifungua. Tangu class 4 darasa mao ndio mimi nilianza kuchora mistari. Pili nilienda na exercise book hoping one day nitashare one stage na Juliani. Ukabila ilikuwa rampant. Mile kila nilitambua ni uko fulani. Nataka kuwafunza. Life is about moving. If you haven't met the devil yet, maybe you're moving in the same direction. Ama wewe ndio shetani.
Wow, we appreciate you. Willie, we appreciate you and the team. You've chosen not to be silent, because being silent is a choice. You're speaking through the spoken word, and clearly you're resonating with the youths. I don't know if you people have noticed how they are clapping. How are you clapping? Thank you very much. I welcome back Mr. Jackson Mwe to proceed with the program.
Thank you, youth, for teaching us the new way of clapping. We have been seated for a while. I would request we just stand up, stretch, just stand up and stretch. Good. We can have our seats. We are moving to the next segment of speeches. In the fight against corruption, EACC and other stakeholders have been working very closely with some of our development partners operating in Kenya. They have been critical in the fight against corruption through different programs and activities. The first set of remarks will come from UNODC, and this will be presented by Madam Asmaret Tesifai, the PRIT Program Manager, UNODC.
How do you speak after such a presentation? Good morning, good afternoon. Hamjambo. Okay. Honorable Chief Guest, Honorable Permanent Secretaries, Chief Executive Officer of the Ethics and Anti-Corruption, dignitaries, distinguished guests, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, how are you again? It is my distinct honor and privilege to join you in the momentous occasion as we commemorate International Anti-Corruption Day, the 2025. It's observed annually on the 9th December. This global observance stands as a solemn reminder of our collective responsibility to rekindle our commitment towards upholding transparency, accountability, and ethical governance. We convene under the theme, Uniting with Youth Against Corruption, Shaping Tomorrow's Integrity. This is it's the second consecutive year to underscore the pivotal and promising role of our youth as guardians of integrity and advocates for the change in a world struggling with eroded trust and widening inequalities, given corruption's pervasive effects on our communities and institutions. At a global scale, 1.9 billion young people in the world form nearly a quarter of the global population. Kenya's demographic profile is equally one of the immense promise of a median age of 20 years and approximately 75% of the population under 35. Tackling corruption is therefore essential for securing the future. A global youth essay competition with over 1,300 submissions revealed that young people feel that they are often the first to face the consequences of corruption. They describe the consequences of corruption as underfunded schools that limit access to quality education and scarce job opportunities, which reduce their prospects as healthcare becoming less accessible and opportunities for participation in public being restricted. Here in Kenya, the situation is quite similar, with the National Ethics and Corruption Survey, the 2024, revealing that 67.6% of Kenyans perceive corruption as pervasive, with 65.5% noting its escalation over the preceding year. Unemployment and corruption remain the foremost national concern, impacting the youth with reluctance to report such incidents, driven by the perception that remedial action is unlikely. The youth's emergence as guardians of integrity gives some inspiration. With empowerment and guidance, youth can transcend the role of observers and act as change makers who embody ethical frameworks grounded in the public interest. The Program for Legal Aid and Aid Delivery, PLEAD 2, generously supported by the European Union, and implemented by UNODC, which stands for United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, extends its technical support and assistance with the EACC in pursuit of a society defined by integrity and ethical conduct. This aligns with our United Nations Convention Against UNCAC, which Kenya is part of, and among other UN strategic instruments. Our joint awareness efforts are informed by the United Youth Strategy, which prioritizes meaningful youth engagement. In commemoration of this day, we draw inspiration from the outcomes of the recent Youth Integrity Dialogue hosted at Pwani University, convened in partnership with EACC. This forum brought together students, youth leaders, and stakeholders to amplify perspectives that are too often marginalized in anti-corruption discourse. Key highlights included a compelling student-led performance that underscored the youth's imperative to shun complicity in corrupt practices, eliciting profound reflection among participants. Insights from distinguished contributors highlighted the necessity of multi-stakeholder collaboration, electing leaders of an unimpeachable character. The dialogue yielded substantive recommendation, positioning universities as center for instilling ethical values from an early age, harnessing digital platforms for the oversight and transparent documentation of public initiative. UNODC has also advanced this dialogue through innovative programs such as the Youth Integrity Cup, which was conducted earlier this year in July, under the banner of United for Integrity. This event harnessed sports as a medium for promoting ethical decision-making and team leadership while facilitating inclusive participation. UNODC's broader youth strategies emphasize the use of digital tools to leverage youth youth technological proficiency for accountability mechanisms, youth-driven events to enhance participation, and integrated campaigns under the Youth 2030 that emerge educational outreach policy advocacy. The achievements of Pwani University exemplify the profound potential of youth advocacy, transforming conversations into action, converting challenges into catalysts for reform, and elevating integrity in the forefront of national discourse. On this International Anti-Corruption, we unite under our shared theme. I urge your commitment to advocacy. In conclusion, we mark this International Anti-Corruption Day. Let us renew our pledge to ethical leadership, a discipline that informs every deliberation and action. It's against corruption. We shall not only shed light on prevailing deficiency, but also chart a course of enduring integrity. The moment demands action, and let's play our part to empower the youth of Kenya, fulfill their mandate as the guardians of our legacy, a future guide by integrity. Pamoja tuangamize ufisadi. Thank you very much.
Another round of applause for Madam Testify. Our chief guest, we have received a short message to the youth from the African Union Advisory Board Against Corruption. The chairperson, the Honorable Kwame Senanu, has sent a message of goodwill to the youth of Kenya. And the message reads, youth across Africa are encouraged to stand up, speak out, and take their place in the fight against corruption. Youth, that is yours. Receive it. Thank you. Chief guest, our next speaker will be the Charge d'Affaires from the British High Commission, Dr. Barnett.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Allow me to ride on the protocols already observed, but with a twist. With your permission, CS, I'd like to suggest that you are not the chief guest. In fact, we have more than one chief guest. Please could all those who are under 30 stand up as the chief guests receive applause from all the old people in the room. Thank you very much. You are the chief guests because we are focused on you, and you are the change makers, not of tomorrow, but of today. But it's a really great honor for me to be with you today on behalf of the United Kingdom, and I want to extend a particular thank you to the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission and to UNODC for gathering us together to mark this important day of raising awareness of corruption and taking stock, as we have heard, on progress in implementing the UN Convention Against Corruption. The theme this year, we have heard, is uniting with youth against corruption, shaping tomorrow's integrity. And it could not be more timely. Young people are powerful agents of change. It's with your energy, creativity, as we've seen just now, and determination that you play a critical role in promoting transparency and accountability. Your voices, ideas, and actions are essential in dismantling corruption and building a culture of integrity. I was delighted that my team recently traveled to Kirinyaga University with the EACC to hear the views of young people outside Nairobi. And only yesterday, I hosted a youth panel event to listen and learn. The message was clear. Corruption matters, and young people want to be part of the fight. Incidentally, it was also my first experience of this. Do we call this clicking or clapping? Clicking. Snapping. Okay, I'll prompt some more snapping. I've been honoured to work in partnership with institutions and civil society, from supporting Kenya's progress on the FATF action plan to promoting transparency through the Open Government Partnership. And we have recently rolled out a new multi-year program to strengthen institutions, including supporting the implementation of the Conflict of Interest Act, improving beneficial ownership compliance, and working with the National Youth Council to empower young people as key drivers of change in the fight against corruption. Our program is rooted in fostering citizen engagement to ensure that it remains responsive to Kenyans' needs. But we also recognise, as the UK, that we must make progress at home. And that's why yesterday, the United Kingdom launched a new anti-corruption strategy, signalling our seriousness in tackling corruption both at home in the UK and abroad. And we have also just announced that we will be hosting a major international summit in June 2026 to tackle corruption and dirty money around the world. It will bring together governments, civil society organisations, and private sector representatives to build an international coalition to tackle illicit finance being used to fund crime, terrorism, and evade checks and balances. Tackling corruption is not only a moral imperative, but also a strategic necessity for achieving economic growth, security, and stability. The fight against corruption cannot be waged alone. It requires collective action, government, civil society, academia, private sector, citizens, and all of you. We will have work to do together to promote integrity over dishonesty and transparency over opacity. Kenya and the UK can go far together. Asante sana.
Thank you. A round of applause for Dr. Barnett. Thank you for those remarks. Now we are going to receive remarks from the head of the EU delegation in Kenya, Mr. George Pereiro Pinot. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Maybe allow me first to clarify that I'm the head of cooperation of the EU delegation in Kenya, representing our ambassador here today. She is participating, as many other heads of missions, on the negotiations on the United Nations Environment Assembly that takes place at the UN headquarters this week. So the Honorable Salim Mvurya, the Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Youth Affairs, Creative Economy and Sports, the Honorable David Oginde, the Chairperson of the ACC, the Honorable Principal Secretaries here present, senior members of the Judiciary, Government of Kenya, the Kenya Leadership Integrity Forum members from the Government of Kenya, from the Parliament, from the Judiciary, the civil society, the independent media representatives, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. First, I would like to allow me to thank the Kenya Leadership Integrity Forum and the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission for having organized the event today, and particularly for having invited the European Union to share a few words. The European Union is deeply committed to the fight against corruption within and outside our borders. And some of you might have heard or might have read this week or last week that current and former top European Union officials have been arrested and questioned over corruption and conflict of interest cases. This is obviously sad news for us at the EU, but it's also, I think, on the positive side, a strong sign of how seriously the EU is taking the fight against corruption. And seriously, we should take it because corruption is, of course, one of the most important impediments to sustainable and inclusive economic growth. It's also an obstacle to the creation of a favorable business and investment environment, and it undermines trust in government and in governance. Most importantly, I would say, it also kills the hope of youth on a prospective future for them, for younger generations. And therefore, one could say that it's not surprised that in many countries, in 24, in 25, the youth have protested, including in Kenya, including in our European Union member states. They protested over what they perceived to be poor governance, mismanagement of public funds, or what in some countries has been called the stolen futures. Of course, Kenya has excellent opportunities to fight corruption. It's one of the early signatories of the UN Convention Against Corruption. You have in your own constitution, 2020 constitution, the necessary provisions for that. But with opportunities come as well high expectations among citizens in general, private sector, civil society, that there will be good governance, the government will be able to deliver high quality services, there will be opportunities to develop the country in a direction that allows many to benefit from all growth and from investment. On the EU, we are certainly much older society that the Kenyan is. It has been mentioned here already that almost 80% of Kenyans are under 35 years old, while in the EU we are talking about 16 more or less % of youth people or people aged between 15 and 29. But even if it's smaller, youth are also active in the European Union in terms of fighting for the future and their opportunities. We have had protests in the EU, we have calls for institutions to govern better, we have had thousands of requests for access to information submitted every year, for accountability and for integrity tests. This has led the EU in 2010 to launch a EU youth strategy that was renewed in a new one for 29 to 27. And the objective of these strategies is to ensure that our policies and regulations make the most of youth potential. They also try to foster youth participation in democratic life, support social and civic engagement, and aim to ensure that all young people have the necessary resources to take part in society. The EU youth also inspire what we call the youth sounding boards, which are 16 different variations within and outside the EU, and what they intend is to expand the dialogue and engagement with youth on a number of issues. In the case of Kenya, we launched the Youth Sounding Board some year ago, and we have enormously appreciated regular interactions and consultations with 15 bright, opinionated, and diverse youth representatives from across Kenya. And what can assure you that most of us come up for those discussions are, of course, issues of good governance, of democracy, of citizens' accountability, and of the fight against corruption. But of course, stepping up the fight against corruption is not an issue of youth or Gen Z, or a demand of them, is, as shown, I believe, by several opinion polls and by the ACC anti-corruption surveys, it's a concern and a key priority for Kenyans across the country and across different social standings. Makes sense because fighting corruption and poor governance becomes essential when, as it has been mentioned here today by one of the youth intervenants, millions of shillings or euros put out of our government budget, which impacts and affects the government's ability to respond to the wishes of citizens, young or old, female or male, urban or rural. The European Union has worked with Kenya on the fight against corruption on several fronts. We have support dedicated to the corruption initiatives. We have also integrated anti-corruption activities as cross-cutting objectives in several of our programs. I refer to some on the institutional side. We have just heard about from Pete, our Justice Reform Program. We are also supporting public finance management, e-procurement, digital land governance, and business and related to human rights. On the civil society side, we have support efforts of civil society to engage youth and women on financial and budget transparency, on accountability, on electoral integrity, on transparency, and access to information and investigative journalism. Maybe I would just also refer, because one of the youth also interveners refer to the case before of corruption, particularly corruption in terms of traffic police, fines, etc. I would like to say, some of you know that, of course, that the EU is a key advocate for Kenya to reduce court backlogs and traffic corruption by moving into instant traffic fines. Many of our interlocutors and partners inside and outside the government believe this alone could change Kenya for the better. I'm also pleased to share that the EU has, over the past years, been able to witness and sometimes support EACC's and CLIF's much expanded youth engagement. It has been an exciting journey for you and for all, and I think this event today is a clear testimony to how far Kenya has come and how it has evolved in this journey with youth for all. Just 2 weeks ago, one of our colleagues joined a youth engagement on corruption and integrity at the Technical University of Mombasa, which was very interactive, extremely informative, and indeed very much appreciated for those who were there, including ourselves. In closing, I would just want to share that the European Union will remain with Kenya on its integrity and anti-corruption journey, that under the CLIP leadership and a strong political commitment, I wish all of you much success in empowering, learning, and taking advice from the youth of Kenya and join force in the battle for integrity, accountability, and prosperity for this country. Asante sana. Thank you.
Our various partners in the fight against corruption have spoken. EACC is the lead agency in Kenya in the fight against corruption. And therefore now we turn to EACC to hear what the Commission is doing. Join me to invite the Secretary Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Abdi Mahmoud, to make his remarks.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Jackson. The youth who are our chief guests, please, before I read my speech, which will be very brief, I want to seek your permission to ask the judiciary representative just to make one or two. Where is Justice Musinga? Justice, kindly just come over. Just to, let's hear the voice of the judiciary in this particular event. I think you are one of those people who've been very consistent in our meetings, I've noticed. Kindly just come and, even if you just want to say hi to our youth so that they can clap for you. Please.
Thank you for the ambush. Our youth, we are told you are our chief guest. Please stand up. I want to wave at you and honor you. All the under 30s and all of us who are not under 30, can we clap and their owner. Please be seated. Honorable CS, today we are told they are our chief guests, but we appreciate your presence here as our featured chief guests. But let me just talk to them for a minute, because they are the future and the present, the people who matter most in this country. Our sons, our daughters. Corruption is a real existential threat to the future of this country. You are the greatest stakeholders in this country. In everything that we do as your fathers, mothers, and uncles. I have heard the spoken word here that was expressed very well, and I congratulate that team, because your message is very strong in your spoken word, in your songs. And I like what has been said and emphasized, that you must speak up, because unless you speak up, things will continue the way we are. Unless you do something, the status quo will continue. There are many institutions in this country that are committed to fight corruption, the menace of corruption. The judiciary is playing its part, but we can only do what we have to do when we are presented with the right information, evidence, proper investigations, and so on. It starts with you making the appropriate reports to the entities that need to investigate corruption. Us in the judiciary, we are committed to doing our part without fear, favor, affection, or ill will. The four of you who stood up here and say that you've encountered corruption in one way or the other, I heard what you said, we heard what you said, particularly on our public roads. The number of people who have died this year alone so far, the last time I checked was about 4,300 or thereabout. To what extent have you and I contributed to the death of those people? Perhaps by not reporting that corrupt police officer, that bad conductor or driver, yourself, perhaps riding a boda without putting on a helmet, which we know is against the law, but are endangering our own lives. A country losing more than 300 billion Kenya shillings through road traffic accidents because we have to import these vehicles and spare parts and so on. What I'm saying is that it behooves all of us to play our part to fight corruption, because if we do not do it, we are all going to suffer. We are already suffering, but the suffering will be much in days to come. And so, thank you very much for the invitation. We'll do our part and continue to do what you do. We appreciate what you're doing. You're doing an excellent job, and we'll support you as much as the law enables us to do so. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you. Yeah. It was important to hear that message, isn't it? Yes. Very assuring, refreshing, and we really are grateful for that. So the CS, Honorable Salim Vuria, EGH, Ministry of Youth Affairs, Creative Economy and Sports,
the two principal secretaries who are present here today, our chairperson, Bishop David Oginde, other dignitaries, development partners, the members of the Fourth Estate. Of course, I've talked about the youth who are our chief guest today. As the CEO of the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, let me take this opportunity to thank you all for coming to this particular meeting, a very important meeting for us, and a meeting where we are supposed to deliberate and talk about the challenge that is facing our country, which is corruption. For those of you who have been following the work of the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, yesterday we launched our annual report for the year 2024-2025, where we reported all the activities that we undertook within the year. I urge you, at your free time, please read that report so that you get to understand the status or the problem of corruption in our country. So let me say that the National Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission Survey of 2024, which was carried out by this commission, by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, highlights corruption's disproportionate effect on young people through high bribery rates in education, employment, and financial aid services, areas critical for the youth development. However, the survey also revealed a heartbreaking truth. Almost 6 out of every 10 young Kenyans say that they would take bribe if no one was watching. So, despite the fact that youth actually suffer the greatest when it comes to the effects of corruption, but 6 out of 10 of the young people who are asked the question whether they will engage in bribery if given the opportunity, said yes. That is not a very encouraging statement. So, when billions meant for hospitals, roads, bursaries, and universities funding vanish in private pockets, it is not just money that is stolen, it is the jobs that you are supposed to get as young people, the classrooms that were never built, the loans that never reach your HELB account, and the hope that dies a little more each day. That is the result of corruption. These immoral actions by few individuals are robbing an entire generation of its dignity, its trust, its belief in fair Kenya. My message to every young person here today and who are listening to me is, you are not the problem, but you are the solution. And we want you to be part of the solution in shaping a better tomorrow for our nation. This calls for a whole society approach. Thus, we continue to partner with key stakeholders in the public and private sector, the media, the civil society, the youth, and the wider public to stamp out corruption. In this regard, the Commission in June this year signed an MOU with the National Youth Council aimed at collaborating with the youth through joint activities and programs to empower them and advocate for good governance and promote integrity. The Commission has since implemented programs targeting the youth, including joint media appearances, integrity movements in universities and colleges and campuses throughout the Republic. I call upon the youth of this great nation to use their strength, creativity, and energy to advocate for and live the value of respect, patriotism, and fidelity to the rule of law, and hold persons in authority accountable for us to realize our dream of an ethical and prosperous Kenya. The price is high for all of us to be defeated, and future is too bright to be claimed by cynicism half-hearted actions or inactions against corruption. I just want to make one remark before I invite our chairperson. And I'm glad our friend from TI, I don't know if she has walked out, Sheila has just walked out. The Institute for Social Accountability, TISA, released a report recently indicating that every day Kenya loses 3 billion Kenya shillings to corruption. And as partners, because this civil society is a very good partner in the fight against corruption, it is good as friends that we always, correct one another where possible or share information where necessary. In my view, and I've read the report, and I've also told the Director of Prevention Service, Vincent Okongo, to go through the report, I did not find a scientific method of arriving at that specific statistic. When you mention a number, there must be a formula that is applied to arrive at that number. If it is generalizing something, we can all generalize information. We know corruption is a problem in our country. But when you indicate that certain number or certain figure is lost to corruption every day in our country, yet you don't provide facts as to how you arrived at that statistic, I think it is good we correct one another. Because as a commission that is responsible for the fight against corruption, we value partners, we value our partners, including TISA and any other, social accountability and NGO or any other, institution. All that we are asking is, let us give facts. Because anyone who is reading those figures outside Kenya, for example, or who is not aware of the facts as to how those figures were arrived at, will basically assume that these are facts. Yet, we are trying to find out how did these figures originate. Initially, we had heard of figures of 2 billion being lost every day. I also asked our research team to also try and find out the origin of that statistic and the figure. We are yet to arrive at a conclusive decision. All that we are saying is, yes, corruption is a problem. We all appreciate that. But what we are asking is, can we be factual in any report or information we share publicly or internationally? Because all these have some negative effect or impact on our country at the global stage. And I think it's just fair that we ask those of us who are in this space, then when we give figures, let us also share how we arrived at that figure. Thank you so much. Now, please join me in welcoming the chairperson of the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, Dr. David Oginde, to also give his remarks.
Thank you. Shike. Good afternoon, everybody. Let me just check my notes here. Vanamvuria, our CS for Youth Affairs, looks like today you have been disrobed of your honor as chief guest. But it's interesting, before Dr. Barrett spoke, that's exactly what I was also coming to do. You are actually the chief host, because the chief guests who are here are from your ministry. and therefore you are our chief host today as you host us in this great occasion where we reflect over matters of corruption. I also want to appreciate our chief guests, the young people. What you have shown us here very, very briefly has actually shown that you are in touch with what is happening in the country and what can be done about it. And we want to encourage you to continue to raise your voices and to act in the right way. And we are grateful that you took time to come and be with us on this particular day and on this particular occasion. Our other guests who are here with us, we want to appreciate each and every one of you. Our principal secretaries who took time to come and join us here. Our president of the Court of Appeal, our good friend Justice Musinga. Thank you for those impromptu but very pointed words to us all, especially to the young people, and all the other people who are here, my fellow commissioners, our CEO, and all the guests who are here with us, our development partners. Thank you for taking time to come and be with us. Today marks a very significant occasion because we have come here not to commemorate, but to reflect over the matter of corruption. And this is happening globally because today is the International Anti-Corruption Day, a day that has been set apart so that we can reflect on this scourge that is not just affecting our nation, but the nations of the world, in varying degrees, but definitely affecting each and every one of us. The focus this year is on our young people. This is a very important thought about those who set the theme for this year to focus on our young people. Because for a fact, the youth everywhere are the pillars of what is going to happen tomorrow. Those of us who are now being called old were one time young. And time moves very, very quickly. I remember when I was at the University of Nairobi, in our time, every 3 to 4 weeks, we were on the streets and we would be sent home. We would stay a week, 2 weeks, and then be recalled back. We come back, another 3-4 weeks, we are sent home. And that was my experience in my first year. There was hardly any university term, academic term, that we completed without being sent home once or twice. When I got into second year, I thought to myself, how long will this continue? In fact, what really made it so difficult for me was whenever I reached home with my suitcase, because I came from the village, so whenever the university was closed, I picked my suitcase and went home. And there was this time when I arrived home in the morning by bus, and 3 or 4, some people asked me a question. Did we send you to university to riot or to study? And I looked at some of these people who were telling me, one of them was actually my former classmate in primary school who did not make it even to secondary. And now he's asking me, did we send you to study
or to riot. That touched my heart. And I thought to myself, something has to be done to change this. And so when I came back, at that time, I was also being elected. Did somebody say leaders are what? I voted. I trained leadership, but I've never had that one. So I'm going to add it to my library. Leaders are not born or made, they are voted. So I was voted to be the Christian Union chairman at the University of Nairobi main campus. So I thought, how can I utilize that space to make a difference in the university so that I don't keep going home every 2 years, every 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and people who didn't even make it to university, to high school, are asking me such questions. Did we send you? Remember, the word is, did we send you? No, did you go? Did we send you to go and riot? And so I thought to myself, the only way we can change this is to change leadership of then it was called SONU, Student Union of the University of Nairobi. So I thought, how can we go about this? It required 100 votes to nominate a candidate. So I went to 100 people who knew seriousness and integrity. I said, can we nominate a candidate? And I identified a young man who was very promising, very humble. And I said, this is going to be our candidate. And we nominated him. And people voted for him, and he became a leader of the University of Nairobi Student Union. For the next 2 years, this university was not closed. Together with Professor Mbidi, who was our vice chancellor then, they worked together and ensured we never went home. Whenever there was a complaint, they would call the students together, talk to us, explain what is going to be done, and we never went home. That's the power of leadership. But part of the reason I'm saying that is that as a young person, wherever you are, you have a role to play. I was listening to somebody recently, and he said something very powerful. When there is darkness in the room, you don't go into the room and shout at the darkness. You put on a light. No matter how much we shout at darkness, darkness only listens to what? To light. Even if it is a candle, darkness will flee. And so, my call to us today as young people, we have a critical responsibility because our nation is blessed with youthful, bold, energetic, creative population. The statistics have been given to us that this country and the continent as a whole is comprised of young people. This is actually a great asset that can make a difference in our continent. You are our creators and innovators. You are our digital natives, shaping ideas. You know, some of us were born before computer. We are just learning how to use them. But you are born within that time. How can we utilize the resources, the skills, the abilities, the opportunities that you have to change how our country is run? Corruption for too long tried to steal our future. Because when corruption inflates project costs, hospitals remain unfinished, your loans don't get delivered, at least not in time, public funds are mismanaged, jobs are lost,
When bribery invades recruitment, talent then gets sidelined and hope diminishes. When Joyce was asking those people who had encountered corruption, it's just that she restricted it to the young people. I would not have told you the story of 20 years ago. I would not have told you the story of 3 months ago. I would have told you the story of 2 weeks ago. Because 2 weeks ago, I was trying to transfer a vehicle using the portal. And when it got stuck, we called an officer to help us in that transaction. This officer said, you need to pay. If you give, no, if not pay. If you give me 10,000 shillings, I will sort you out immediately. So he said, is this official or how is it working? He said, no, it's just to facilitate so that your process can go quickly. So of course I told my colleague who was helping us in this, I said, of course that we can't do. And she knew we can't do that. She said, if you not, then you just wait. We said we will wait. 2 days later, when I went to the portal, I found your application has been rejected. So when we called, we asked, why has it been rejected? There was no explanation. The person said, I told you give 10,000 shillings and we'll facilitate this very quickly. So my application had been rejected, not because there was something, but because I had failed to pay 10,000 shillings. I almost felt like saying, do you know who you are talking to? Because all this was going on phone. We were not talking person to person. All this was going on phone, on WhatsApp. So I almost felt like saying, do you know who you are? You are asking 10,000 from. But when I'm doing my personal business, I normally prefer to be an ordinary Kenyan so that I don't take advantage of the office that I have been given. So I went to follow this to its logical conclusion. And this person completely refused. We have to pay 10,000 shillings for them to process the application. An application that normally would take, doesn't even take minutes. So I asked one of my people, because I didn't want to act on this on myself. I said, let's find out what exactly is going on here. Why is this rejected without any explanation? When we tried to find out, they never explained. I think they discovered that they had asked the wrong person. So they processed that very quickly. They said, go and check the portal now. When I checked, it had been approved. So I was thinking to myself, how many Kenyans are going through this experience? How many Kenyans do not know another person to ask, like I did? How many Kenyans are seeking ordinary services, simple services, and they cannot get because the people we have put in place to process and deliver services to us are not doing what they ought to do? The only way, I really want to appreciate the young person who stood here, who wanted to get into Huru Gardens and was asked to give something small. He said, you know what, I can go and rest somewhere else. So as he went to rest somewhere else, this person called him back. The other place where he wanted to go also, he was told, no, just come. We can make a decision to defeat this thing called corruption. before it defeats us. Young people, if you facilitate, if you perpetuate, if you decide to succumb to the practice of corruption, you are destroying your own future. You are digging a hole that will consume you. So we at the Commission, we are committed to continue to strengthen programs, and policies, our partnerships with young people at the very center, so that we can build a Kenya where corruption will not define us. It is possible in our time. Over the past year, as has been mentioned, we have had a series of engagements with various young people from Murang'a University, Egerton University, Kirinyaga University, Technical University of Mombasa, and other places. And because we believe that we can raise up a new generation of leaders who are not sold out to selfishness, but are ready to build a nation that we can leave behind for future generations. It is our belief that the fight against corruption cannot succeed without the young people at the center of it. I am convinced that if we as young people choose the right path, we can redefine the norms, we can reclaim the trust, we can build integrity, and we can build a nation that we can be proud of. Integrity is not an event. Integrity is not a hashtag. Integrity is a lifelong practice. Every day making the choice to do the right thing, whether people watch or they don't. And that's a choice that some of us have taken over the years. Sometimes it has consequences. But, again, to quote the young person, I don't remember the name, who said, "I would rather die than be engaged in corruption." Did you hear him? And he said, after all of us are going to die. I thought that is the spirit. That is the spirit. Some of us are afraid, now if I don't pay, what will happen to me? History has many young people who stood up in significant times against the forces of darkness of their times. At the height of apartheid, when black communities in South Africa had absolutely no rights, Steve Biko arose as a young but a key figure in the black consciousness movement. And he stood up. Unfortunately, he was tragically killed in police custody in 1977 at the age of only 30 years. But he had left an indelible mark that catapulted the nation towards lasting reforms. Nelson Mandela, continuing with that movement, entered the struggle in his 20s. He did not experience the fruit of his labor until he was 90-something. Winston Churchill, a fierce opponent of tyranny and totalitarianism, he entered the British Parliament at the age of 25 with a passion to transform society. His early political career included stances against the oppressive policies of the British Empire in places like India and South Africa. Later, in his career, he became known for his resolute stance against Nazi Germany. In the same context, William Wilberforce, at age 25, entered parliament and was instrumental in the abolition of slavery. And the list goes on. I can go on, but time is not on our side. What this is telling us is that if the young people of our time take the place that is theirs, we can drive the corrupt out of this country. We can get them out of this place. We can make their lives so difficult that they will not survive. I believe we can do it. And that's why we have invited you to partner with us during this International Day, Anti-Corruption Day, so that we make life of the corrupt very difficult in this country. You can only be beneficiaries of tomorrow if you choose to be the architects of today. So you must choose integrity, refuse to sell your birthright for a bowl of soup. Do not allow yourself to be purchased. You know, when we talk about goons, have you heard something called goons in this country? Do you know who those goons are? They are human beings like you and I, young people particularly, but who have sold themselves for a little money to go and destroy property, disrupt meetings, kill people. Don't allow yourself to be used as goons. You have a better future than that. Don't take shortcuts of buying exams and fake certificates, bribing other people. I believe that as we mark this day, there is great potential. And I believe that you and I can shape a nation that we will be very proud of. Thank you for listening to me, and thank you for coming to join us here. My hope is greatly raised, having listened to you and watched some of the things that you have done. We are truly grateful. I appreciate each and every one of you. And thank you to the Cliff team for organizing this very different approach to our International Anti-Corruption Day. Chief Host, it is your turn to come and talk to your people. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, you know, I was confirming that he was voted. Yeah, the Principal Secretary, State Department for Justice, Human Rights and Constitutional Affairs, Madam Judith Pareno, the Chair of EACC, Bishop Dr. David Oginde, the CEO, my brother Abdi Mohammed, Mr. George Pereiro, the head of delegation in the EU here present, Dr. Ed Barnett, the Child Affairs British High Commission, the President of the Court of Appeal, Justice Musinga, Ms. Asmat Tesfaye, Lead Program Manager, UNODC, Dr. David Omonyo from the Media Council, Ms. Judy Njino, the Executive Director, UN Global Compact, and of course, recognizing our chief guests, and also who are my key partners and clients in the administration of youth affairs, creative economy, and sports in our country. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. First of all, I missed some of the sessions in the morning. We had a cabinet in the morning, and therefore I missed part of this program. However, for the time I've been here, I've been able to catch up, with the topic and also with the key discussions for us here today. I want to say from the beginning that I am really pleased to join you in this very, very important meeting where we are also commemorating the International Anti-Corruption Day. We are commemorating this day with a very exciting and inspiring theme, uniting with youth against corruption, shaping tomorrow's integrity. This theme definitely is very, very urgent, necessary, reflective, and timely within our society's demographic reality. And the demographic reality is that we have a bigger percentage of Kenyans, almost 70%, who are the youth of our country. The theme is a call to action on all sectors to empower young people as key partners in the fight against corruption. Building a just and transparent society requires collaboration across generations, across sectors, across institutions, with the youth at the driving force, shaping integrity now and in the future. We share the conviction with the world that corruption is not only a crime, but a profound injustice, one that steals opportunity, erodes trust, and undermines the promise of our nation. Ladies and gentlemen, Kenya holds a special place in this global journey because in 2003, December 9th, Kenya became the first country in the region to sign and ratify the United Nations Convention Against Corruption, affirming the government commitment to build governance culture grounded in integrity, transparency, and accountability. The convention continues to guide reforms across our legal and institutional framework. And I must say that within this journey, Kenya has made very inspiring strides in the fight against corruption, with the setting up of the EACC, who have also continued to make sure that they prevent and fight corruption in all its spheres. The United Nations established this day to raise global awareness on the effects of corruption and to remind the citizens of the importance of integrity. As we reaffirm this commitment as a nation, we recognize that today's youth are more informed, more connected, and more vocal than ever. They are using technology and digital platforms to ask for accountability, and they envision a better Kenya. Young people represent the energy, creativity, and future of our country. Our responsibility is to support their courage and equip them with the requisite to change into sustained transformative results. Ladies and gentlemen, the government, in its commitment to achieve the aspiration of Kenyans as embodied in the Kenya Vision 2030, is implementing the bottom-up economic transformation agenda that is geared towards several key objectives, among them to bring down the cost of living, eradicate hunger through irrigation and food security, create jobs, ensure universal health care, promote human development, innovation and research, and expand our energy potential and existing infrastructure. This kind of development framework targets enhancing incomes for those at the bottom of the economic pyramid and ultimately improve their livelihoods. I'm happy to observe that this well-thought-out economic model has begun to yield results, more so at the macroeconomic level, and so the impact will be felt in the entire economic ecosystem as lived benefits. When corruption thrives, it is the youth who suffer the greatest loss through diminished opportunities, distorted resource allocation, weakened public services, and compromised trust in meritocracy. It deprives the youth quality education and health care. It limits job opportunities, undermines merit-based advancement, and fuels inequality and mistrust in public institutions. For many, corruption feels like a wall that blocks aspirations and punishes effort. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the State Department for Youth Affairs under my ministry is also working to expand platforms for young people to participate in governance, innovation around transparency, and use creativity and sports to amplify integrity messages nationwide. One of the key strategies is to promote meaningful youth participation and inclusion in national development and leadership. And in this respect, I want to say that the Cabinet already approved that the National Youth Council elections will be done in February next year. And therefore, those who aspire to be voted, please prepare. Because the National Youth Council is a very critical institution to organize youth and also be able to foster governance and accountability in a much more organized manner. Through the National Youth Opportunities Toward Advancement project, the ministry deliberately adopted application and selection systems that guarantee transparency and promote the use of digital tools to support access to business grants. What I'm saying here is that we have been able to employ technology. Technology where in this project, you don't need to know anyone. You don't need a committee. You don't need to talk to anyone. You all need your phone, *254#. It's a 20 billion project, and it is running on your mobile phone. So if you want to participate in the business support component where we are targeting 110,000 youth in the country, you go to your phone and you make the application and you receive your money on that phone. If you want to participate in the recognition for prior learning, which is now on course, you do the same. And the recognition for prior learning is looking at the youth who have skills, but they don't have any certificate. So we work with you to ensure that we recognize your certificate together with the Ministry of Education. On the job experience is looking at those who have been in tertiary institutions, they have technical skills, they don't have experience. Again, you run the application on your phone. And then we run this program where we enlist 90,000 youth across Kenya and mentor them through trades in the various towns with a 6-month mentorship where you are paid 6,000 per month, all running on the phone. And then the same program is enlisting 600,000 young people who will be trained in procurement issues. And again, this is to provide opportunity for our youth so they can do business both in the county and in the national government. Again, this is a very big opportunity, and as you are already aware, the government has approved e-procurement system so that we can also avoid wastage, and therefore these are opportunities available to our young people. The establishment of countrywide digital innovation hubs continue to expand the space for youth voices, innovation, enterprise, and leadership. These hubs are nurturing a new generation of creators and problem solvers. The government of Kenya is running a 100,000 kilometer fiber across the country. And basically this is to promote use of technology for basic services. And therefore, what I'm saying here, Honorable Chair, because you are elected, you are honorable. Honorable Chair and also participants, is that one way also of encouraging transparency and accountability is to use technology. And the government of Kenya is positioning infrastructure across Kenya to make sure that that can be possible. We have also continued to expand these centers, the ICT hubs in the country, that ensure our young people not only have access to technology, but also understand how to use it ethically, with safety and for the public good. They promote responsible digital citizenship by equipping youth with the skills to combat misinformation, uphold online integrity, protect personal data, and contribute to a safer, more accountable digital ecosystem. These efforts are strengthened by the country's evolving legal and regulatory framework, including the Data Protection Act, which safeguards personal information. And on this, I want to say that the various arms of government have consistently provided a policy environment, the legal environment, to ensure that we anchor efforts to prevent corruption, but also deal with corruption when it happens. This journey of legal reforms, I think, has been a long one, but I must appreciate that we have had very good progress as a country. And I think where we are, because I also know the Conflict of Interest Act was signed in July, and where we are now is to see how we can use this enabling environment to foster values that prevent and deter corrupt activities. Together, these laws reinforce our work in government by providing a secure, transparent, and well-regulated environment with which young people can innovate, participate, and lead responsibly in the digital age. Under the Department of Sports, we have equally inculcated similar governance models where now we hold federations and we are carrying out key reforms to ensure transparency, fairness, and accountability in athlete selection. I'm saying this because we have elevated the profile of our athletes in the country. And we've made it even more competitive because we have approved the new rewards. And these new cash rewards can be a source of corruption for some people. because we have moved those who win gold awards from 750,000 to 3 million. And those who win silver from 500,000 to 2 million. And those who win bronze from 300,000 to 1 million. So definitely this competitive process also requires safeguards, and therefore we have also worked to ensure that these reforms are in tandem, with making sure that federations are also inculcating good management and good governance, because otherwise they will deter and curtail the talents of the youth of our nation. Together, these efforts reflect government that is intentional about equipping young people with opportunities, skills, and platforms to lead, innovate, and shape Kenya's future with integrity. Ladies and gentlemen, time has come where young people do not pass merely as victims of corruption, but they must stand to be counted as powerful drivers of change. Their creativity, energy, and digital savviness place them at the forefront of seeking accountability and shaping national conversation on integrity. It is important to also understand that being a youth is not a permanent position. The people sitting in front, those who are clapping for the youth, are retired youth, including the chair. And I think it's good you told us your journey when you are at the university. Mgomo, but I think your community and where you came from, they were very, very accountable. So the degree was not yours. Yeah, and that's why they said, we sent you. So across digital innovation, civic engagement, creative arts, sports, and social accountability initiatives, young people have consistently demonstrated their ability to expose wrongdoing, mobilize communities, and champion integrity. Today we recommit ourselves to empowering our youth to deepen public awareness, champion innovative solutions, participate in meaningful governance, and hold institutions accountable through informed civic engagement. I want to applaud the youth champions, influencers, artists, student leaders, and grassroots organizations whose courage continue to shape Kenya's integrity landscape. Your voices, creativity, and leadership are contributing to the Kenya we aspire to build. So, ladies and gentlemen, one of our shared responsibilities as government, EACC, civil societies, and development partners is to listen. Young people have ideas, solutions, and lived experiences that should shape national policy and institutional strategies. This commemoration, therefore, offers us an opportunity to elevate these voices, not just today, but consistently. We must transform dialogue into meaningful, inclusive decision-making process and a culture of addressing concerns in our society. I wish to reiterate the support of government to implement programs that will see a more informed, vigilant, and empowered youth population, and greater participation of youth in anti-corruption initiatives, so that as a nation we convey a strong and unified national message that corruption has no place in Kenya. Now, before I make the declaration for today's function, I also want to say I'm not going to give a story like Chair, but many of you also know that I have been voted at some point. If you don't know, I was voted term 1. And we were with Madam here in ODM. Then term 2, I was voted in Jubilee. And if I wanted term 3, I would have been voted on any party. Because again, even those who are voted can inspire integrity. And I think that is a point I want to make here, because at some stage, depending on the positionality, we reduce this matter of corruption into finger pointing. When you are on this side, you feel you are more inspired to point a finger at what is happening on the other side. When you are on this other side, you keep quiet, it is okay. What I want to say is that as Kenyans, away from the legislation that we have made, we need to inculcate a value system from family, community, and at any level. Because today, if you ask some of the young people, who is your role model, you will get different answers. And those answers can point to you some of the issues that the CEO was saying here today, that 6 out of 10 would say, if I'm in a room alone, I would also take a bribe. So I think the most important thing is also to diversify the prevention and fight against corruption, to inculcate value system. What value systems do we have in our training institutions? As we are now reviewing the curriculum in education, how have we prepared the curriculum to prepare our young people to live and grow in an environment that has integrity and in an environment that, you know, is very transparent and accountable? It is important because when we look at the issues, and I'm happy the CEO has spoken, because some people and institutions have taken the fight against corruption emotional. And that is why you have alarming facts and figures, very alarming. So if we want to succeed, we should commit to correct information. Correct information that is going to give us room to take action. Correct information that is going to assist the judiciary in making sure that they also nail those who are corrupt within the legal framework with evidence. So the other thing we need to invest in is technology. Technology has proved to be a good tool to foster transparency and accountability, even though there are also challenges, because you know right now we pay most of our services through eCitizen. But from the experiences of the chair, it looks like technology can also be captured. It can also be captured by some people. So I think what we need to do is to work around the corner in a 360 participation process to ensure that whatever we do to prevent and fight corruption, we also have a wall that prevents hacking, capturing, and many other vices. So I don't want to say much because this is a very important topic. It is a vice in our society which we should fight, all ages, all institutions, all stakeholders. And the good news is that we are talking about it. We need to move another step now to convert our words into action. It is not a responsibility of one person, of one institution, but when you see that there's good legal framework, legal framework that is supportive, the policy framework is supportive, then the government, through the leadership of His Excellency the President, has created that enabling environment. It is upon us to now decide, because as Chair said here, it is a decision. If you want to work with professionalism and integrity, it is a decision. When you want to learn civil engineering and you are buying a certificate, you know you are threatening the lives of many people. If you are buying a certificate to be a doctor, you are threatening lives. Those are personal decisions that we need to make. The institution can catch up with us, but sometimes the institution is overwhelmed. So it requires our personal decisions, and it requires us to make sure that we have values in what we do. Finally, we require collective action from all of us to make sure that we succeed in this matter. The PS in charge of youth affairs, creative economy, is now turning 30. You know, I used to say he's 29, so now I have graduated to 30. So he's a youth. And therefore, when we talk about youth and young people, the youth now sit in the decision-making table in government. We want more of that to happen, but the most important thing is when you are sitting on that table, what are you bringing? You should bring integrity. You should bring matching words with action, because that is where we can succeed. I have many stories to tell, but not for today, because I work with youth many times. I will be telling you much more about my journey. But the most important thing I want to say to our young people is that when you are a youth, it is not a permanent state. You are very creative, you are very innovative, but you soon transit into another category. And you can see even the retired youth, when they get gray, they look for dye so that they can still remain with black hair, which means the youthful age is very prime. It's very prime because, again, you have an open check to your career. You are at the stage where you can be what you want to be. You have a dream. You have the potential. The government and our international partners are also creating strategic opportunities for you to succeed. So if you want to succeed, you need to connect with the next available opportunity in a very proactive manner, in a manner that will be transformative, not in a manner where you will be used by another person to assist them to reach their destination. And I think, the Chair, that is where you are coming to about the goons. Because that is where somebody is using the youth so they can arrive at their destination, not the destination of the youth. You see, so I think you need to be careful. As a ministry, we are open. We will work with you. We have several programs. And there are a lot of experiences that we can share with you, because we have been there before. And there are many of them. If I had time to give microphone for these who are here, even justice may not have been the first choice to be a lawyer. Maybe he found himself there. You see, so there are many people here with different experiences, and I think in another forum we can share. But I think the most important is for you to be available. There are various opportunities. Now the internship program in government through the Public Service Commission is available for those who have just finished university. make use of those opportunities. And with those many remarks, because even as I'm the key host, I had been given the honor on behalf of the youth to now declare the 2025 International Anti-Corruption Day commemoration officially open and to wish you fruitful deliberations. Thank you very much. Asanteni sana, tunashukuru sana, asante.
Thank you for those remarks, Chief Host. I want to invite all of us to appreciate the CS for those remarks. Again, join me to appreciate all the speakers who have taken the podium today. Because this is important, as Cliff, we want to request the Chief Host, together with all the speakers who have taken the podium today, to come to the stage to take a group photo. And that includes the speakers from the youth movement who spoke differently. I kindly and humbly request all the speakers who have taken the podium, you come to the stage. Okay. Okay. Once it is done, let me know. The camera people will let me know, because there are others who will be joining. The CEOs, Vice Chancellors, Development Partners, the CRJ, the judge, just be ready, commissioners from EACC, just be ready to join. The first one is just for the speakers. Is it done? Okay. EACC commissioners, CEOs who are with us, the Chief Registrar, kindly join the team. Okay. Can I propose that we stand here? Yeah? Yeah. Just so that we can utilize the space, I will request those who are younger than me, the youth, to be down here. Just be down here. Then we can come closer, because we will have the youth lining up here. I can have more youth join here. I can have more youth. Yeah. Yes? Yes, it's okay. Can I have more youth line up here? I will also invite my colleagues, directors from EACC, kindly come up. Kindly come up. Thank you for coming in big numbers. We need to smile for this photo. Thank you so much. I will humbly request that we go back to our seats so that we make a few announcements. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Just some few announcements before we go for lunch. One, lunch will be served to all of us, and it will be served in 2 venues on account of just space, not because the lunch is different. The lunch is the same. But on account of space, it will be served in 2 venues. We will have the chief host and all the members of his front bench, all the speakers, will proceed, will be guided to Taifa Hall, where they will take their lunch